Way! Hello, viewer. Today is Sunday, February the 19th, 2023. I am Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all doing very well, especially coming off the back of the Velma vid. Okay, so good video. On this evening's stream /podcast, we are discussing the goings on this week in pop culture and on the social media. But before we begin, you can find us here on the YouTube, or if you prefer your entertainment in the podcast form, we are also on Spotify. The links are in the description. So if you've not nodded off, as I always say, lots to get through. Shall we get the guests out? Of course, we should. So here we go. First up, he is the YouTube equivalent of James Cameron, although a short one this evening by his standards. It is the Lord, everybody. It is the Little Platoon.
Good evening.
Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
I'm not bad, my friend. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, manically busy, but this will be a nice little breather before I get back to work again for the rest of the night.
Great video this evening, my friend.
Oh God, that was so painful to do. I really regret doing it. I needed to have something out this weekend, and so I thought it.
Over 3,000 watching. Can you believe it?
I think it was up to sort of near 3.5 at one point. So that's not too bad. It's tracking. Yeah, the views are doing basically what the last one did. So that's not too bad.
That's really good. Plus, you've got a sponsor now, haven't you?
Well, that was it, because I had to get the video out today, and it was a choice between, do I think I could reasonably do Ant-Man in 2 days? And I thought, probably not. So what do I know I can put out for Sunday? Velma. And people have been nagging me about finishing Velma as well. So I thought, I will suffer through 6 episodes back to back, and if I'm still alive by the end of it, I'll have something to show for it. But Ant-Man will be next.
And the peeps have been lapping it up too, so all good, my friend.
I wouldn't blame them for not. Like I was expecting more comments along the lines of, God, do we need another Velma video? And my answer to that would be probably not. No, you don't. But here it is anyway. So suck it.
Well done, my friend. Shall we get the next guest out?
Sounds like a plan.
It does indeed. Okay, so from a VPN far, far away, it's the golden reach around droid of choice. It is Z3PO.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Brown, sir.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm actually aching all over. I've been doing lots of decorating today.
Is that a euphemism for what you do with Uncle Owen?
Yes.
No, what he does with Uncle Owen just leaves him aching in one really specific part of his
One
body.
specific place which requires an oil bath.
His USB port. So you're good, my friend, other than
I am,
aching.
apart from my shoulders hurting like hell.
Oh.
I'm raring to go.
Okay. Shall we get the next... Good to have you on, mate. Shall we get the next guest
Yes, get
on?
the next guest out.
Yes,
here.
I think we should. Okay. Next, talking about blue people. I think that's a previous comment from you, Lord, but never mind. It's the purveyor of meh entertainment. It is. He's poorly, folks. He's ill, so be gentle with him. It's the movie cynic. Hello there.
Ahoy.
Oh, little baby, are you poorly?
I do not feel very good, no.
Oh, are you taking one for the team? Bless you, my little friend.
I am, and I too have to get a video out by a certain date, so the video is going to sound like this. Oh, well.
What sexy.
Sexy. It's morning talk. That's what this
You'll
is.
be fine. I did Jurassic World Dominion with COVID.
I know, I remember.
The film did more damage to me than the COVID did. But people will forgive it. People for some reason find ill people sound sexy, so you'll be good.
Yeah,
Hey,
I think
cool.
the ladies or
There we go.
probably the boys will find it sexy as well.
I think like only 15 or 20% of my audience is ladies, though, so I don't know.
Does that mean 85% of they thems?
Probably because
Thinking
there's
much joke.
no masculinity nowadays.
Okay.
Not
So, other than being little Paulie, is everything okay with you, my friend?
Everything's great with me, other than the illness. Everything's great,
And you're here.
and I'm
Perfect.
here with my
Yeah.
friends. I love it. Let's go.
Should we get the next body out? Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. Next, all the way from Texas Landshire, she is the queen of this channel. She returns, folks. It is Rennie L.
Hello there.
Hello. Very
Can
loud.
you hear me?
Can you hear me,
Tuesday,
Governor?
innit?
It is, isn't it?
In it.
I'm going to
Innit?
turn your mic down. In it. You're
That's
very
so rude.
loud.
Look, you sit there and you complain it's not loud enough. Then I crank it up, and then you're like, "Yeah, no,
Too
girl,
loud.
you too loud. I can't take it. I can't."
That's what she said. How are you, Rennie?
Doing really well. The hubby and I had a good day so far.
Great to have you on.
Oh, thank you. It's good to chat with you guys. I missed you all, but as you know,
We've missed you
life-
more.
life has been nuts the last 6 months or so, but in a good way. Always in a good way. So it's good to be back.
It's
No, she gets
great.
married and then she no longer has time for any of her friends. It's an old story.
Well, do you really want to know what I've been doing with my time? No.
Moving on. Here you go, Hostman. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. We're not.
Oh,
Great to have you on, Rennie. Shall we get the
Yeah.
next body out?
yeah. Bring him on out.
Okay, and last but by no means least, he is the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. It is the great Mega Geek himself, and he's got a great story for us today, folks. It is Ian David Diaz.
Yay.
Hello.
You all
Hello.
right, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's been a good week for me. Yeah, definitely a good week for me. How's everybody? Okay.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Doing good. Glad you're here as well, Ian.
Yeah, glad you're here too. One of the OGs.
That's right.
What does
Sup,
that
Got a
mean?
full
boys?
house tonight, haven't we?
That's right.
Amazing.
What does that mean? OG.
Original
One of the
gangsters.
originals. That's absolutely original gangster. Right there.
How do you not know what OG is when you're an OG yourself? I just
Exactly.
can't. I
Could mean
can't.
It could mean
Sorry.
orange
Refers to
juice, though,
himself as an
couldn't it?
og.
Yeah, could mean
Sorry.
orange juice.
Sorry.
Could mean,
Well, brown nose OGs is only
Brown
grands,
nose?
so
Only what?
only grands.
All right.
Oh, I didn't know they had an OnlyFans for grandpas.
Grannies. Yeah.
Lord, will you be reviewing MILF's Mansion?
Oh,
I pay to watch that MILF's Mansion.
no,
Triple dog dare
no.
you, Ben.
I've just about survived Velma. I am not subjecting myself to that.
I'm waiting for the down-market British version, which is Granny Garages.
My checkbook, my credit card is at the ready for that one, Z. Shall we move on?
Yes, definitely.
Let's.
Okay, so hello chats, we can see you. Hello chats, hello, we can see you. So end of week musings, Sunday, February 19th, 2023, episode 120. Can you believe it? 120. There he is, old black and white Picard.
I love you, Data. Yeah, he's back.
I love you, Data. If you have made it this far and you're enjoying this content, and why wouldn't you be, please like, share, and subscribe. Every single click will help this channel grow. Please, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We need the numbers, as it were, to help. Yes, it will help. It will give me the impetus to keep doing this. So, okay, so let's go.
Picard.
Who's seen Picard?
Unfortunately, me.
Yes.
You've seen it too.
Lord, would you care to go first? Did you
I can
like
do
it?
I mean, Ian probably knows more about this than I do. I thought episode 1, I can see why people sort of got in a tiz about it, because it does the nostalgia so hard. I mean, every plot point is taken from an old Star Trek thing. All the props are references. There's no overt nasty politics yet in the show. It might go on to do that. So I can see why people who've been sort of soured on seasons 1 and 2 would look at this and think, well, it's not doing that, so it must be brilliant. I don't think it was, though. I mean, the writing is incredibly clunky and heavy-handed. There's so much exposition. It's premised on mystery boxes. It's got much the same sort of aesthetic, dark, slightly grungy tone of seasons 1 and 2. And I think the CGI was quite impressive. The score was lovely. I will take clunky, heavy-handed nostalgia, as I said on Twitter, over clunky, heavy-handed politics. I just can't help but remember season 2 also started quite strongly, and look where that went. So
Yes.
I just thought, yeah, in an ideal world, this could have been a one-off years ago, just to get the old out of the way, and it might have been an acceptable start, like The Force Awakens, to a new revived Star Trek. As a season 3 debut, it's relying on people forgetting everything that happened in season 1 and 2, just as it's done. I don't think many of the audience will be willing to do that. So mixed bag, I think.
Have you seen all the episodes then of season 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of the poor ones who've done that. I haven't.
But
I've
it does
seen
this,
enough.
It's weird. It does this thing where like nothing in season 2 depends on season 1. Season 2 is premised on us all forgetting season 1, and season 3 appears to be premised on us all forgetting season 3. Like only one of the recurring cast from season 2 is back. None of the story of that seems to have impacted the story for this one. It's like it's had 2 reboots, and it's narratively strange. If you watch it as a standalone, which is I think how you have to watch it,
Yes.
I will still say it's a mixed bag. There were things to like about it, but I do think some of the praise for it's gone a bit overboard.
I've seen it 4 times, but anyway. Z?
Yes, I watched it. I quite enjoyed it. Very cinematic. Lots and lots of member berries. And the entire series hinges on Jean-Luc's decades-old communicator still having a charge. Which is
Yeah, but it's the 25th century, though.
Even so. But I enjoyed it. I didn't watch season 2. I watched season 1, was bitterly disappointed in it.
Yeah.
To the point where I just, fuck it, I wasn't going to watch season 2 at all. But all the right voices have been saying, season 3 is pretty good, actually.
Yes.
So I decided to give it a go, and I was entertained. So I can recommend anybody who's a bit of a Next Generation fan, completely ignoring the first 2 seasons and just going straight to season 3.
Movie, have you seen it yet?
I don't watch Star Trek, so this was never gonna happen.
Okay. Rennie, have you watched it?
I have not watched it yet. The hubby is a bigger Trekkie than me. I did see the first season, and I thought Picard bot was a complete insult.
Yeah.
So, I've been a little afraid to watch it. I know there are some people that before they even watched it were out ranting and raving that it sucked without, going in blind and not knowing.
Yep.
And I think that wasn't the right thing to do. However, personally, I think I'll wait around, give it a little bit of a chance and see what people that I trust are saying about it that actually watch the show. But you never know. It could be redeemable. Am I thinking it will be? Probably not, but you never know, So
Dave Cullen's seen all of it. He says it's really good. And I think the drinker has seen, I may be wrong, I think he's seen all of it as well, and he says it's really good as well. So, and obviously Robert Meyer Burnett has been heavily praising this for months now, hasn't he? So
I heard Doomcock liked it a lot.
yeah,
Yes.
even though he hadn't seen it, it was like, oh my God, it sucks. It's like, well, how did you know? You haven't even watched it.
He's seen it.
yeah, he's seen it. He's seen it.
Seen it. Yeah, he's seen it. So
Well,
it's
in the
his
run up
opinion,
to it,
though.
I mean, for somebody whose catchphrase is, without respect we reject, he's been very disrespectful to some other YouTubers.
Is that
in the run-up
actually
Oh,
his
to it.
catchphrase?
absolutely. Yes, it
That's
is.
one of his catchphrases. Yeah.
Without respect, we reject is definitely one of his big ones, or it used to be. But
Yeah.
he gave a lot of disrespect to some other YouTubers recently, and it's a little disappointing.
But at the end of the day, right, it's people's opinions, and everybody's entitled to their opinions. I don't really, you know what? If people have a different opinion, I don't hold it against them at all. This is where fandom goes wrong, where they literally try to cancel people, and you know, and get angry and stuff. Look, it's not life and death. It's just bloody TV shows, you know. I'm a huge fan of Star Trek, but I'm not
So,
going to destroy a friendship because of Star Trek, or have an
Exactly.
argument over some, you know, with someone because of Star Trek. It's ludicrous, in my opinion.
here you go. Rand's Little Toe. Nerdrotic liked it as well. Yeah, Gary's seen all of it as well, hasn't he? He says it's really good.
What I thought of it was basically I mildly enjoyed it, right?
Mildly.
But there were things in there. I'm being honest, right? Totally honest. And this is how I always operate. There were things in there that I had questions about. I was on a stream before today and I was talking about it. Like, for instance, and I give you an example. I said this on the other stream. The woman that's with Picard, I don't know who she is, the Irish girl. Because I haven't seen season 2.
Oh,
I saw season 1.
his housemaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her, right? She was saying all the things he should have been saying. Like, she was saying, "Oh, you should go out there. You know, it's Beverly. You got to go out there. You got to be who you are. You know what I mean?" And I kept thinking that should be Picard's dialogue. Why is this woman saying all the stuff that Picard should be saying? Picard should be saying that to her. I have to go. This is what I do. Do you know what I mean? And the biggest problem I have with that, because I've only seen one episode, right, is the treatment of Picard. Yes, Riker is definitely Riker, but Picard, his
Stole the
character has
show.
been flushed down the freaking toilet. He is not Picard. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you're the same person inside, right? And there was excuses on this other channel saying, "Oh, he's in a different part of his life now," and stuff like that. But that's not what we want to see in our heroes. We want to see our heroes be heroes. I want to see Picard like Picard. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think they're crappy excuses. Oh, he's a different part of his life. This is not what we pay for. We
I
want to
think
see Star Trek, right?
The excuse for it is going to be that actually what they're doing is really they are just stealing a plot and a character beat from what my brain's gone. Is it Wrath of Khan where Kirk's sort of he's getting on a little bit?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and he has to,
Wrath of Khan, yeah.
Yeah, but the key to that, of course, is that he eventually becomes, seized of his need to act again, and he becomes more like the old Kirk, slightly older and wiser, but he stops being quite so miserable and becomes a bit more active and engaged because circumstances force that.
Yeah.
Echo Chamberlain did a really good video on this, basically pointing out all of the many ways in which this one episode has taken its entire lead from older Star Trek, various different films and TV shows as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue that on. So he's going to start off in this manner, and then eventually he will become a little bit more like the Picard that we want to see. In which case, that would be nice to see.
It would be nice, yeah.
Then you get the awkward question, which is that can Patrick Stewart physically pull that off? Because he dribbles all of his lines. So.
No, but the thing is though, right? What I really hate is when they put a character in a situation that is stupid. Like, for instance, why would you put a 5-foot heroine in a situation where she has to take on 6-foot people? Physically has to fight them and then wins. Do you know what I mean? Just don't write that shit. Do you know what I mean? Don't put her in that situation. Then it'll be okay. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying, right? Like same thing with Indiana Jones. The latest trailer I saw for Indiana Jones. He's 80. He jumps out of a parachute with this girl. Out of a plane with a parachute. I'm like, he's 80. Do you know what I mean? Why would you put him in that situation? Do you know what I mean? It's totally unbelievable. Yes, we know Indiana Jones is unbelievable, but there's got to be some kind of line that you don't cross. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing with Picard. Even though he's physically not strong, he's always going to be physically strong inside. And it's just the things that he says and the way he addresses himself. I just think it's a crime, And also, right, all the women in this episode achieved their goals, and the two dumb men made a mistake at the ending. Do you know what I mean? That really peed me off. Like, Raffi was trying to find out who the Red Lady was, and through Google she found her. She achieved her and what's her name? 7 of 9. She's basically on the ship, and she tells off Picard, and he lets her tell her off, whatever, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just again, I just feel like our heroes are being dumbed down. That's my problem with this episode. But because the showrunner contacted me.
I know. This is the story, everybody. Get this. Listen,
Right, so-
get this, folks.
So basically, I'm on the live stream, and Terry Metalis, who's the
Metalis.
showrunner, was in the chat.
It was in the
So
fucking chat.
We didn't know it was him, right? And he kept saying things and stuff like that. He basically said he didn't see the whole of it. He left. He said, "I'm going to leave because I want you guys to be honest about it," and he left, right? And then I got a message from him on Twitter, and I said, "Are you real?" And he goes, "Yes, this is me." So
Unbelievable.
but the thing is, though, I really admired that. He literally wants people to watch it, and so because he twittered me, I'm going to have to watch all of it now. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate him stepping forward. So if he can do that, then maybe I can give it a chance. And I'll probably
anyone whose favourite Star Trek film is Star Trek 3: The
Three,
Search
yeah,
with
instead of Star Trek,
Spock
yeah.
deserves our respect.
Yeah. So and now I feel obliged to watch all of it now. Do you know
Cheers,
what I mean?
Terry.
So
I think that probably does. That probably does bode well as well for the rest of the tone of the rest of the show. If this is the guy who is behind all of it, and he is on his own spare time just
Yes.
engaging with fans
Yes.
on complete just in YouTube comment sections, that suggests that he's got sort of fan engagement quite to the forefront of his mind. And if he wants people to watch it for its own sake, then he must assume that they're going to like it. Compare that to directors who run away from criticism or attack their critics, and their products usually end up being garbage. If this guy's actually going for fan outreach, he might genuinely have put that into his show as well. In which case, well, I hope that for the best for it, obviously, but I just hope the writing gets better.
I would say, obviously, the circumstances were Kurtzman and Kiva Goldsman were doing other things.
Good. I mean, Terry Metalis sure loves his Star Trek.
So,
I thought the Crusher and her son reminded me of Carol Marcus in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
And the USS Titan leaving space docks had really heavy Search for Spock vibes.
It did. And you know what was interesting was on the stream that I was on, it was Dan's stream. I was the one that's saying, I was the only one that said I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Yet he's the one. He basically wanted to speak to me. So he's making the effort to try and get someone that's a fan of Star Trek and has been absolutely upset with what they've been doing, trying to get me to come and watch the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. You know, it's not like the others. You know, the guy who directed Indy 5 where somebody gave a little criticism and he has a go at them and stuff. So it's the reverse, which I really appreciate. So now I have to watch the show.
I think obviously I'm the Doomcock stuff.
Yeah,
I agree with him, but you know, people have got to make their own minds up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But as I said, going back to the original point of Klutzman and Akiva Goldsman doing other things, maybe we should just kind of think it was probably sheer luck that the person who they gave it to, or did he volunteer? I don't know, was a proper Star Trek fan who's worked on Star Trek Voyager, who's actually worked on Enterprise as well. So he's done the the work before he even got onto this, and I think you can tell that it's been made from the right place.
yeah. I mean, you can tell, but as I said, there are things in there. I mean, as I said in this other stream, I said they basically that it's not my fault that I think this way. They've done so much damage to so many
That's the
different
nub
IPs,
of it, yes.
Yeah, that now I cannot unsee it. Like the beginning, you got Beverly Crusher with a gun shooting at aliens and stuff like that. I'm like, shouldn't that be Riker, or shouldn't that be Geordie, or shouldn't that? Do you know what I mean? Because like she's just a medical doctor now. She's Rambo. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so it kind of fits into what they're trying to do with shows now. So that's why I was kind of a bit and ahhing about it. But
I think it's the I think the thing with Doomcock is it's as we said before, the 4 series of Discovery, 5th on the way, and the 2 seasons of Picard. So that's 6 seasons of totally something that isn't Star Trek. So anyway,
Yeah, but I don't think you should go around and insult other YouTubers and
there is
or
that.
other people that, we all are going to like different things. So
Yeah.
I don't think you should call somebody a shill or an idiot or I forget what the other terminology was, but I don't think you should do that and just kind of, attack other people. I mean, people are going to like things that I think are crap, but it doesn't make them stupid. It just makes them different than me. And yeah, they might be of a different generation, but we just have to accept that, not everybody's going to like what you like,
Yeah, exactly.
It's a vicious circle, because if we don't show that we actually like this, we're not going to get any more.
The thing is, though, this
So-
whole situation was not created by us. It was created by the TV and filmmakers that injected all this nonsense into it.
Yeah.
And there's a huge divide now. Well, I wouldn't say a huge divide, but they basically made us fight against one another by putting all this crap in it. You know what I mean? You got the hardcore fans of Star Trek that doesn't want to admit that it's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got the fans that can see what's going on. They've literally told us to fight one another. But I'm not part of that. So
what's the point? It doesn't solve anything. Sorry,
exactly.
Brown.
Here you go, folks. The wonderful Matt G. Bacon. $2 super chat. Cheers, Matt. 7 and 9. 7 of 9. TNG a legend. Let's count the TNG eps she was in.
Oh no! Don't get the hubby started. He had a thing for 7 of 9.
She's still got it. Jerry Ryan has still got it.
But I mean, it's I'm going to watch the second episode and I'm going to see how it goes, and I just hope that we get something that's we can just sit back and go, yeah, that was worth our time.
I will just say to Terry Matalis, we would love you to come on here, my friend. But anyway,
we don't call people shills.
Not yet.
Just say it as we see it.
Yeah,
That's right.
we're all going to be watching it next week. Then people who have watched it, yes, I certainly am. Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
As a filmmaker, though, you've got to be open to other people's criticisms. If I've had some of my films slated in the press and stuff like that. If I don't care. Do you know what I mean? So if that's their opinion, that's their opinion. That's it. What else can you do? And I think that's where everybody should be, really.
Yeah.
I will say I'm looking forward to the next episode. But anyway, okay.
As long as he doesn't say "I love you, Data," I'm fine.
I love you, Data.
I love you, Data.
I love you, Data.
Really?
We'll give the last word to anti-derivative Jill. Doomcock does have the real concern that Secret Hideout could be allowed to continue with this non-Trek universe. I agree. But I do agree that name-calling fan isn't the best way to...
When did he do this? Did he do this on Twitter?
Yeah, this week there were a couple of
right.
nasty tweets.
And there was the one
It's
before, wasn't it, with Robert Meyer Burnett, when he basically said that anyone who liked the
Pappy.
thing was an evil, stupid shill. Then he did a follow-up basically saying, when I said that they're all fucking morons, I didn't actually say that. It's the culture of fucking morondom that's to blame for this. It's nothing to do with them individually, even though he mentioned them individually. Just on Jill's point, it sort of depends, right? It depends what Secret Hideout's primary motive is. If you say that they are ideologically opposed to everything Star Trek used to be, and that they are going to set out to undermine and subvert it, whatever the cost, then that's a fair criticism. If, however, it operates like any boring company or corporation does, ultimately, its bottom line is the thing it's concerned with. If this series does infinitely better than seasons 1 and 2, because it actually respects the lore and the franchise and the fans, Secret Hideout as a company which ultimately wants a return on its investment will probably learn a lesson from that. They won't love Star Trek, but they don't hate it. They will take a lesson from what brings in most viewers, therefore what brings in the most audience and subscribers and money, and that's what they'll go with. It might give you kind of a shallow pastiche of Star Trek, which is what I fear this series will end up being. It's like, it doesn't really have any reason to be, but it's just member berries. It looks quite nice. It doesn't actively hate everything. But, a hollow pastiche is still better than something that actively tries to subvert it. So it depends how receptive they are to their own bottom line. Most companies ultimately are very receptive to that. So we'll see.
Terry Matalis said this is the TNG film that we never got, the farewell film that we never got after the very, very disappointing Nemesis.
The only problem is now is that we don't have Data in it.
I love you, Data.
Is he not coming back? I thought he was coming back.
Well, it's the guy who plays Data is playing Law, isn't it? Law,
yeah,
the other
Law.
android.
Yeah.
So it's not really Data. It's a shame, really, because Data's the Spock of Next Generation, as far as I was concerned. I love Data's character, just like in Voyager, the Doctor was the best character in Voyager. Do you know what I mean? So I just think it's a bit odd that you don't have him in. He's not in it, basically. So anyway, whatever.
Shall we move on from Picard? Yes.
Do it.
Why not?
Do it.
Do it.
Here we go.
Oh, I still haven't watched this. Ugh.
Who's up to speed with this?
How many
The
episodes
hubby
have there
loves
been?
it.
I'm up to 5.
I don't know. I think it's men kissing with beards has put me off a bit, actually, with this show. So. No, I'm serious. Apparently,
Hilarious.
Well,
two
they're
men with
dead
beards
now,
kiss.
so...
Are they? Did they
Yeah.
die?
What?
Yeah, spoiler alert
Oh,
for anyone who
okay.
hasn't seen it. Z will know because you're probably more up to speed with this now. Is episode 5 the most recent one?
Yes, episode
Not
5,
that Z will know more about men kissing with beards. That's not
here
what
you
it
go.
I
was.
think 6 comes out today, right?
Here you go. Wingman of the channel
Is
Appion. 5 episodes so far. Tonight is episode 6.
Yeah.
I'll catch up with it soon, though.
I'm considering watching it. Paul Chatto says it's great.
Yeah.
Ian, I'm sorry, that phrase of the men's kissing with beards thing is just going to stick with me.
I'll
That's
clip
what I'm
that.
saying.
That's going to get clipped, everybody.
I don't know. No, but that's why I haven't seen it. That's what I was told. I think Ben was talking about it last time we were on with the two guys or whatever it is. You were talking about that episode last time, I think, Ben, were you? I can't remember.
Yeah. It's still the only episode I actually like. I agree it's not like aesthetically pleasing, but then most humans are fuck ugly and you don't actually want to see them copulate. So it's not gay porn, put it that way. Or at least it's niche gay porn if it is gay porn at all.
There you go, Jim D. Solid.
I'm gonna keep saying gay porn until Brown gets demonetized.
Do it.
That's very mean of you, isn't it? Considering that I don't
How
get
very
much
gay porn of you.
considering that I don't get much money for doing these.
I'll super chat you what you lose.
That's very mean of you, you mean lord. You. Jim D, solid episode 5, great big action scene at the end.
Wow. But so
I'm a potato.
sorry, go ahead, Ian. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just being a cock.
All right.
Carry on.
No, I was just saying that I will watch it eventually, but I've never played the game and I don't know much about this, but I've heard that the second game went super woke. So what are they going to do when they need to go to season 2? Are they going to carry it forward like the game? Because if they do, a lot of people are going to abandon ship, aren't they?
It'll be fun because all the people who complained that episode 3 was bad because it deviated from the game will then complain that it didn't deviate from the game enough in not fixing its broken ending. I have not played the games either. I'm just sort of aware of it. To me, The Last of Us is... I've watched every episode. It's on. I usually find I have something more to do. It's like it's always struck me as a kind of a slightly better than average season of The Walking Dead, with the exception of episode 3, which actually had some real character depth to it. Yeah. The action sequence was impressive in the last episode. I remember that. I don't remember a huge amount else, really. There's one sort of character death in there which I won't spoil, but that was quite good, I suppose. But I think, Z, you've played the games as well, haven't you? So
I have, yeah. I mean, structurally, this episode was very much on point with the game. They changed one of the characters from a speaking role to being deaf. It doesn't change the character or the message they're trying to convey. It actually made me sympathise with the character a lot more. All leading up to the nice big action scene at the end. But this episode for me just felt like it was a level of a video game.
The Corridor crew did a segment on
yes.
this, about the special effects, and I didn't realize they were matte shots behind them, but they had to paint it like it was out of focus.
Yeah.
Did you see that bit, Ian?
Yeah,
That was quite
great
interesting.
Video, yeah, great video.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Sorry, I diverted slightly.
I am quite tempted to watch this. And
I might watch it, yeah.
It's not my bag, but I'm quite tempted to watch this.
I've been watching Lockwood and Co. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's on Netflix.
Nope.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll stop there. I'll stop there.
say,
Then. Stop
My
there, then.
hubby's never played the game, but he thoroughly enjoys the show. And he said it doesn't seem super woke or anything like that. But if you would like to ask him, he's right here. But
There you go, Hostman Sock Cheese. Cheers, Hostman.
Good day.
$5. That's it. The show is mediocre at best. The game does what it tries with much more potency.
Oh.
I guess it's tricky. I mean, from what I gather anyway, the world it's trying to build out is quite a big one. It's quite a vast one. There's a number of different characters and plot threads you can follow. With the game, you have the advantage of spending so much more time through the point of view of your main sort of two characters, really. You get to know them more, so you naturally have more time to invest in whatever it is they're doing. If anything, I think that might be the problem I'm having with The Last of Us, which is that you don't have that much time to do it. The world is evidently quite big. They don't really have enough time to do that much of the world justice, but because they are trying to have to flesh bits and pieces of it out, all of that is diverting attention from the people you're really supposed to be investing in, which are your two sort of protagonists and their relationship. And so that might be why it's not striking more of an emotional resonance with me. But the episode, I'm trying to think what else actually happened in episode 5. Episode 5's villain, or like sub-villain, the head of that evil gang. The Walking Dead, again, has loads of these different gangs that pop up, and they've all got usually quite a charismatic leader, like the governor has quite a strong personality. In The Last of Us episode 5, it's essentially a soccer mum, which is... she didn't really quite do it for me. I didn't really find it very menacing, but I don't know if that's...
Ideally,
Just
they should have changed the outcome here if they're adapting it and going in different directions. I would have had her going after them instead of dying at the end of that level. Just on their trails, they move on to the next area. But they didn't, and it's difficult for the show to come up with original story beats that 10 seasons of The Walking Dead hasn't already done.
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Are we all zombied out?
It was good, but I've seen everything before.
See, that was kind of my attitude about it. How many post-apocalyptic or zombie apocalypse kind of stuff can we take without being like, okay, count me out? So...
It's almost come at the wrong time for it. I mean, The Walking Dead, I think, is it in its last season now, or is that just finished?
Oh, it's already finished.
It's finished now. But it was such a huge thing when that started.
It
And
was.
it's been going on, and it's in the back of everybody's minds. It's been going on for however many years it's been. It's only just finished. There hasn't been a huge gap in terms of zombie-related content. The audience has become more zombified during that period, but
Yes.
the actual media meta hasn't. So... maybe this is the right show for the wrong time. Maybe it would have been better many years. Well, it couldn't have been many years ago. The game wasn't out. Maybe it might have been better to wait before you put this out. On the other hand, though, if it does turn out to be really successful, and so far I gather it is quite successful.
Seems to be doing
It's an incentive for more studios to look at doing more faithful game adaptations and adaptations of strong story games as well, which will be an improvement over the last sort of meta for game analysis, game adaptation. Sorry, we've had Arcane recently, which was very good. The Last of Us, which is at least I think good. That bodes well. Maybe we'll get some more interesting game adaptations out of it. But in its own terms, it probably could have done with waiting.
I'm waiting for Velma, the game.
Dare you to play it live on a stream, Brown.
It'll be
You can
instantly
make a-
demonetized.
You can make a game out of Velma. It's basically take a drink every time you punch yourself in the head. And
I do
that's-
that anyway. So
Well, there you go.
Z, is this correct? This is for the Brits. Rest in peace, Dickie Davis.
Oh,
host
he
of-
died. Oh, no.
Dead at 94.
Wow. He did. Good
Wow.
innings, though. Good innings, mate. Wow. Dickie Davis is this
Malum streak.
sports commentator. He used to do a show called World of Sports, which was
On
Saturdays.
Saturday, yeah.
So that it started at 10 and then carried on all the way through to the evening. It just covered every sport in
Yeah.
the mostly in England, basically. So yeah,
And British wrestling,
Yeah.
which
yeah,
God.
terrible.
Okay, shall we move on? Yes.
Do it.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh
Okay,
no!
so this was out this week.
Yep.
This is Quantum Mania, by the way. Who has watched this? Who's still alive? Movie?
I did see this.
Uh-oh.
It was
Uh-oh.
not. It was not
How
very good.
awesome was it?
It was not very good. It was shockingly bad. The thing that went through my head was just like, how do you mess up an Ant-Man movie? Because it's such an easy slam dunk. Like, you hired the best actor you could for Ant-Man. If you're going for a comedy, Paul Rudd is just like a breezy guy, and they somehow underutilized him. And the script is just as bland and chud-like as the special effects. Like, it's just so unbelievably boring and
The
bland.
chat is loving this.
Oh no.
Yeah, and
Bless
Hostman
you,
Socrates too, about MODOK. What they did with that character is the CGI on that character is an abomination. It's
gross.
hideous. He's just a massive joke. He's just a punching bag for every other character to shit on and make fun of. And it's also paced incredibly weird. You can argue with a lot of movies like where the acts of movies end, like act 1 or 2 or 3. From my point of view, it felt weird because it was only 2 hours long, but it felt like it was 4 hours because for me, the first act was only 5 or 6 minutes long. Then the second act was like an hour and 10 minutes.
What?
And then the final act was like 40. It was really bizarre. So it was just paced really, really, really poorly. I don't
Oh,
know
that
how
sounds
else to
awkward to
describe it.
watch.
Yeah, it was super weird. So you combine that with just like really, really boring jokes, just really unfunny jokes, which sucks coming from Paul Rudd. And everyone's saying that Kang is good. Everyone's afraid to say that Kang is boring. He's
Say it,
not a
mate.
good
You go
villain,
for
and
it.
it's really cringe. I did
Is
not
it
like
because he's
Jonathan
black?
Majors. I think that
Come
it's
on,
just
Ian.
like the same. It's just the same reason. It's the same reason everyone's afraid to criticize Black Panther, because
Exactly.
it really is, because and it's not even his fault, because he's a pretty good actor. It's just the way that it's written. Some of the lines, I'm just like, they either went with a really bad take or you just can't deliver that line well. It's bad. It's
You heard
bad.
that the director had a solid film, and they reshot a lot of stuff and added stuff. So maybe the reason why it's so bad is because they've mucked around with it, I guess.
Yeah, and they had to too, because of the poor reception of Phase 4, which is just really funny to see, like someone just lying right to your face when they know the truth of the defense of MCU and the Marvel, of just like, well, they're still massive movies and they make so much money and they're really, really good, actually. And then behind the scenes, they are retooling everything because they do know it's shit, even though they're saying it's amazing. And that's clearly what happened with this movie. They spoke of the importance of the film and how it's going to, show the trajectory of the MCU, where they're going to go. And I don't think they meant for it to happen in this way, because it didn't happen where they're like, look, isn't this going to be awesome? It bombed, at least with critics and with the audiences too, because I know it says 84% of Rotten Tomatoes, but in reality, if you look at the cinema score, it's a B. And anyone who knows how box office works, any of that stuff, and that used to be a hobby of mine, a B in cinema score is actually like a D. Because you're polling, it's opening night fans that are getting polled. So it's all the people that want to go see it. It's everyone that rushes out there. So like an A is an A, an A- is actually a B. Like it kind of goes like that. So so the cinema score is a B. So it's not going to have legs. It's going to flatline, and for good reason, because it's not good. So it does change the trajectory of the MCU, just not in the way they actually planned, because they're already changing how everything's going to work, because they're just like, shit, this
It's all women. It's all women, isn't it? They're going forward. It's
Hence the
going to be all
poster, by the
women.
way, folks.
Yeah.
Thinking man's joke. Thinking
I
man's
was going
joke.
to ask you, Movie Cynic. So I just saw like the trailer for the first time a few days ago, and it just looks like it's centered around Scott Lang's daughter to take over. Is that kind of how it felt when you were watching it?
Daughter.
No, not really, not at all.
Okay.
She's just
good.
more of like gonna be part of the team, honestly, really. And it's hilarious too. This isn't even spoiling anything, because they set it up like all this shit happens in the first 6 minutes of the movie. But they kind of set up an arc for her where like she comes into the movie, she gets arrested, so she's like rebelling, and she's mad that her dad wasn't there, and is mad that he's also not doing anything with his life. So you're like, oh, okay, well, this is really stupid, but we have an arc. I see what you're gonna do. You're gonna repair their relationship because he really loves his daughter, and they're gonna reconnect and whatever. And the very next scene is them all being light at the table and taking everything, making jokes about everything. I was like, oh, okay, so that's actually not what's going to happen. And it wasn't.
Oh, dear.
That isn't what happened. So there really is no arc other than Scott Lang really loves his daughter. And just so you know, his daughter's named Cassie. And you'll know that because he shouts it 487 fucking times in this movie. I swear to God. I wonder what it would be like if you loaded the script into Word and searched for the word Cassie, and just how many times it's said for him shouting that under his dialogue.
Friend of the channel, Tim's Talk. It's more centered around Janet.
Which one? Who's Janet?
No. Like
Janet is Wasp's mom, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I guess so. It's not really. I don't know. It's not really centered on anyone.
So hold on. So Michelle Pfeiffer was stuck in that realm for a long time, right?
Easy.
Yeah.
So so when they go back and they see Kang and all those, how come she didn't tell them about it?
Oh, because don't worry, they have the very opening scene is explaining, filling in that little gap. They show a scene where she came across them while she was down there. So there you go.
Okay. So why didn't she explain to them though before that?
Because he's so dangerous. You can't do that. He's too dangerous.
He's so dangerous that she didn't warn anyone about it.
Exactly.
She trapped him down there. We need not speak of.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna have some fun with
Pitch
this.
meeting style, so the movie can happen.
Yeah, his daughter's also a genius, because obviously she
what a
is.
surprise.
And
Oh,
she's made
another
this
one of
box.
those after
She's
Shuri
made
and-
this magic bullshit box that can communicate with the quantum realm, so that the plot can happen, and they get sucked into it and into the quantum realm. You guys, it's really something.
It sounds like people that
sounds
have
stunning
no
and brave.
idea what screenplays like wrote it. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of my script review, writing the review right now, and I'm on this section, and that's kind of how I explain it.
You two boys are going to make a lot of cheddar from this, aren't you,
Probably.
Lord? Yeah.
I hope so.
If I ever have time to do it, yeah,
Make
I'll be on that at some point tomorrow. It's honestly, it's such a weird starting point. So like, phases 1 to 3, it's neat. It fits into it. Most good stories have a 3-act structure to them, and phases 1 to 3 have a 3-act structure to them. And every new act, every major new act, begins with something which is supposed to be incredibly important and integral and a massive story. So like phase 2 begins with Iron Man 3, which is a shit film, but nevertheless it's still Iron Man. So we're led to believe that that's going to be
Still
incredibly
better
important.
Than modern day
It's a
MCU, though.
It's a
Oh,
masterpiece
absolutely.
now.
And then phase 3 began with Civil War, I think it was, which is again a huge blockbuster piece, something around which all the events of the phase 3 sort of hinge. It triggers everything.
Yeah.
I think it's indicative of how bad phase 4 is, that there has not been an equivalent moment that you can start Phase 5 with Ant-Man, who is really he's a passenger character. He's not a character who's going to be a big draw. His story doesn't usually matter in the grand scheme of things. He's not anybody's massive favorite hero. He's not a box office draw, and he's not an integral part of any massive story. If you're starting Phase 5 with what is essentially an optional damp squib, it doesn't bode well. And I'm not surprised to hear that the writing is garbage. People who seem to think that Phase 5 would be a marked difference from Phase 4 forget that Ant-Man and the Wasp was written alongside half of Phase 4. There was never going to be a huge difference in quality there because the writing teams haven't changed. But where do you even go from here? You've got Multiverse of Madness, which has given us a multiverse, which is already impossible to grasp, get hold of, and understand the stakes of. And now you've got Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which gives you a quantum realm, which is just the multiverse all over again. One multiverse wasn't good enough. We have to have two of them. Why are we supposed to care about anything that's going on if we don't understand the first thing about what's going on?
See, you're nailing it. This is precisely what was going through my head when I was watching this. Like it's there are no stakes, because I saw someone comment like, apparently the multiverse is just really difficult for people to grasp. And it's like, no, that's not what it is at all. Like, it's just the quantum realm in this movie is a perfect example. Anything can happen at any point in time, and so you don't really feel like there's actually any threat to them, because it would just be too random, because everything's random down there. So there are no stakes and there's nothing to grasp. And also, like, you can have a massive sci-fi movie, I don't know, like something called Star Wars, and still have characters that you really connect with and care about, that keep you grounded with that story. But these are, like you said, these were supplemental characters. There's a reason why in the other media, like comic books, that Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Wolverine, these are still your marquee characters. And there's a reason for that. They are the most compelling. That's what was going on in the MCU at the beginning, and they were really taking care of those characters, so I was invested in the stories. So I would go see Ant-Man because it was supplemental to the main characters that I cared about so much. And now, though, these are our main characters. Well, they're not good enough. They're not good enough to carry a movie, and they're especially not good enough to, I don't know, keep me entertained for 2 hours while they stand against the green screen. That's as good as Spy Kids 3D.
Ooh, that's damning.
Oh, wow.
Damning.
In the chat, I think this one's for you, Lord. Rand's little toy, little platoon. Can I pay you to sit next to me while I work and provide commentary? It would make my day so much more enjoyable.
That would depend on the job you're doing. I mean,
and how much?
Yeah, and how much? Porn star, maybe. Office work, no. I escaped the office last year. I'm not going back to that. But Ant-Man is just... He serves a really useful purpose in phases. When did the first Ant-Man come out? Was that the end of phase?
It was 2015. It came out.
So that was
the end of it was after
end of phase 2.
It was
after
enjoyable.
Age of Ultron.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah. Which it was enjoyable, but that was sort of the point of it. You know, you get the stakes are increasingly getting bigger, and they're also getting much darker and more serious. And then Ant-Man comes along, and Ant-Man is like. He's not a straightforward comic relief character, but he's about as close as you can get to that. And when you've got the overarching meta of your phase is dark, serious undertones and very severe stakes, and things are potentially becoming quite miserable, deservedly so, because that's what the story needed to happen. There's a utility in having a character like Ant-Man come in, because it at least reminds you that superhero films can also be quite lighthearted and good fun. But when the meta for superhero films now is that they are consequenceless, lighthearted, good fun, what is the point of Ant-Man? Ant-Man isn't serving as a foil to anything else.
No point.
He's just going in for the theme of everything else. Just impossible to understand. No real drive. There's no severity around him that he can play off of. It's just more light-hearted MCU stuff. I don't think Ant-Man's the kind of character that you want to be building a phase off of. So why you would start a phase with him, I don't know.
I agree.
But then I haven't seen the film yet. Maybe it will be brilliant, but I gather from everything that's been said that it won't be. So I'll be watching that tomorrow.
Will you be travelling to Indonesia to see it like you normally do?
I usually try and
India.
I usually try and watch it once in the cinema and then once on the seas just to see what it looks like when the ship's rocking and, you get a bit of motion blur and what the other people will see. So I'll do
I'm
both.
right there with you.
Where did it all go wrong, boys and girls? Do we know?
Phase 3.
When Disney bought Marvel.
That's right.
There you go. Yeah,
That's-
because Iron Man and Iron Man 2 were great.
I
Well,
don't know.
well-
I loved all the way up to. I was still in it big time, even after Endgame and Spider-Man Far
But the
From Home.
production
And
cycle would have been well in advance of those, wouldn't it?
Well, they were just, when Disney bought them, they were just starting to stick their stuff into it.
But it was
But,
creeping
Yeah,
in.
and they just kind
You
of
know,
put it
I
in
lo-
further and further.
I loved the new Spider-Man. I thought Tom
Sony.
Holland was great as Spider-Man, and I still think he's great as Spider-Man. And I love what they did with the last Spider-Man as well. And I'm like movie cynic. I liked a lot of the movies, but yeah, there are some crappy ones.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2 wasn't very
Definitely.
good. Iron Man 3 wasn't very good. Ant-Man was the first Ant-Man was okay. Second Ant-Man was absolute nonsense. But but it's getting worse. I'm sorry, they're sticking all this crap into it, and in the next 3 films will just be about women.
Dog shit.
This isn't an
Speaking
all-male
of women, Melvin Deeply, the guy who hates politics, Maggie Thatcher was the beginning of the end for humanity.
Yeah, you're just bitter.
Maggie took away our
Stream
milk.
killer.
Took away the kids' milk.
Okay. Shall we move on from this, whatever this is?
Yeah.
Actress pretty hot though, isn't she? The actress who plays that character. She's pretty hot.
she's a plank of wood, man.
She's
okay.
airbrushed to hell.
A
But
plank of wood.
moving on.
Whatever else can be said of it, at least it will probably be better than the Marvels. So there is that.
That's true.
Yes.
That's definitely true.
That
Uh,
is, yeah.
Even a drop of paint is better than the Marvels. Come on.
Speaking of plank of wood, my favourite section of the show,
Oh,
the
Mr. Brown.
movies, the movie cynic, that's the blue boy, recommends at the movie cynic.
The bucket that he's vomiting in. He recommends that.
Damn them children. So, Matthew, my friend, what is in your bag of goodies this week?
This is a show I just watched this morning. It's called Shrinking.
Oh, it's with Harrison Ford.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it good?
This is quite good. It's Jason Segel's the main character. He plays a therapist in Pasadena.
I thought that was
California.
Ryan Gosling.
Um,
I thought
my
this
God,
was
really,
Blade Runner
Brown?
did
2049.
you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't look like Ryan Gosling at all.
Does.
I mean, I can see it if at a quick glance.
I thought
I'll
this
give
was,
that to you.
they've obviously teamed up again after 2049. I thought, good on them. Moving on.
But Jason Segel plays a therapist in Pasadena, California, whose wife passed away a year prior. He's having difficulty still coping with it, and it's affecting his life and his relationship with his daughter. It's a dramedy, and it's produced by Apple TV. So, no matter what you think of that company, just like their products, really, like there's an unbelievable sheen and just high quality production to anything they produce. And this is of
Doesn't
no
mean it's any
exception.
good, though.
No, not at all. But at the very least, like you can, that just adds to something like this. But at the very least, there's a bar of quality with Apple TV. This exceeds it because it's quite good. There's Harrison Ford's best performance I've seen in a long time. It looks like he's having a good time, and it also looks like he's injecting a lot of himself into it because he plays a really isolated kind of
He's
asshole
injecting.
character. He plays like a mentor character. He's
Okay.
a coworker to Jason Segel, but he has his own issues and trouble opening up too. So there are a lot of characters. There's
Cheers,
clearly the main protagonist, but there's a great set of ensemble characters. And Jason Segel's trying to cope. The plot of the show is he's trying to cope by being unorthodox with trying to help his patients. It becomes unethical, but he's seeing great success with it. So that's kind of the play when it comes to the plot. It's only 5 episodes deep, but so far I'm really enjoying it. If anyone's worried about woke
Is it woke?
There is some I don't even know what people fear about it anymore. Anyway, so my thing is it's as long as it's representative of reality, then cool.
Representation.
And right, as long as it's representing what reality would look like, then cool. And it really does. It's in Pasadena, California, so there are, it's a diverse cast, both sexual orientation and all that stuff. But it makes sense. And honestly, one of my favorite characters is this gay best friend. He reminds me of a friend of mine who's the most flamboyant gay guy I've ever met.
Lord, is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, come on now.
Gee,
How dare you?
I've been accused of many things, but being flamboyant is
yeah,
never
he's.
one.
I was gonna
I
say
was
he's
gonna
not
say, Brown.
flamboyant.
You stop that.
Sorry,
But no,
miss.
so expect that, but it's just reality. So it's it's no worse for wear. It's all good.
Okay, so on 1 hour, the movie cynic or Blue Boy himself recommends
I must have paid Harrison
Blade
Ford.
Runner 2049.
I must have done.
Should we move on?
Harrison Ford's not cheap.
Yeah.
I think he's buying a jumbo jet, isn't he?
Yeah, it's not cheap
Probably.
at all, mate.
What can he fly at 80 though?
Well, he can jump out of a plane with a parachute.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Zev in the chat says, as flamboyant as James May can get. Very good. Okay, shall we move on?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what they want.
Oh, it's my turn.
Here we go, folks. This is what the crowds have been waiting for. Lord Cord's news round at the Little Platoon.
You need like one of those little news tickers and the little ding 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 from like back in the day.
Flamboyance. Okay, so let's see what the Lord has got for us this week.
He doesn't know.
No idea. I have no idea what's coming.
He doesn't. This is a crap poster. It really is.
The Marvels, everybody. Guess what? It's delayed again.
Because
No
of
way.
shit.
November now, I think. November
It's the
10th,
fifth time, isn't it?
Why would I watch that? It's got
That's a
three
good
of
question.
the three of the worst characters you can ever have in a movie.
Shit.
Why would you go to see that?
Nothing better to do?
No, I wouldn't go and see it. Even if I had
Chat.
nothing better to do.
Chat. Anybody's waiting for this? I'm assuming it's going to be popular. This.
Everyone in this chat has Captain Marvel t-shirts ready to go.
Yes.
I personally don't think this will make it into cinemas.
Really?
Oh yeah, it will. They'll have to. They have to make some money off it.
And also, they have to push the agenda and show that it's big enough and people do like it. So and pretend that people like it. So they have to put it in the cinema. They'll put it in the cinema.
Here you go, folks. Johnny Lawrence's mum. Yawn.
But it's a movie about three characters whose comic books have been cancelled on multiple
That's
occasions.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Who's going to want to go and see it?
Only the woke crowd.
It'll be woke people and YouTubers, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we'll all be going to see it because it'll be great
Absolutely.
fun.
Here you go. Hostman Socktrees. Chrissy Meyer said it looks like a lesbian stoplight.
Well, that might be fun for
That's
some
pretty good.
guys. I'm just saying.
Gui Ramos. I'm waiting for it. Waiting to hear the Lord elegantly tear it apart. Heart.
It would be deliciously ironic if it turned out to be a really good film, but I'm morally certain it won't be. I don't know. I mean, I would be very surprised if it didn't make it to cinemas. The thing that Marvel has that most other studios don't have, including DC, is that it does effectively hamstring itself because it has to announce its phase well in advance. If they had announced that the Marvels was a key part of Phase 5, then not releasing it in the cinema will be obvious to everyone as a terrible mistake having been made, and there's no way that they can get away from that. I think even if it turns out to be complete sort of Supergirl level garbage, they'll still release it because the consequence of not releasing it would be immense reputational damage and greater even than the film can do. But as for why anyone would want to go and watch it, I don't know. Nobody liked the first Captain Marvel. Nobody I know
It was
watched
average
Ms. Marvel.
at
I don't
best.
remember who the third one is. It's just, yeah.
Well, Captain Marvel made a lot of money off the back of Endgame.
Yeah.
because it was the one before Endgame, so it did cross over the billion mark, I think.
Yes,
It did.
did.
Yeah. So it in their eyes is a huge success, and in their stupid eyes, people want another Miss Captain Marvel, which people don't really. Let's face it. So that's why, I guess.
But if
If you
it gets
put
to the
3
point
of
where
them in there,
yeah,
it'll make 3 billion.
triple the money.
Yeah.
But if it
Fair
gets
point.
to the point, if it gets to the point where you have interviewers on the red carpet asking Brie Larson whether she'll ever return, and does she think anyone will want her to return? And then she's incredibly bitchy in her response. That's the mask slipping moment. That's when you're starting to ask, are you really just shit? And if those questions have to start being asked, then the product is probably doomed from the off, because you would never have asked that about Tony Stark, and you would never have asked that about Captain America or anybody else. If interviewers are basically acknowledging that the fans, by and large, hate your character, and they're doing it publicly, even otherwise pliant and conformist media, which tends to try and big up the MCU, something is going very badly wrong.
Here you go, folks.
Comics
Tim's talk.
comics is a boy's own thing. Marvel is a boy's own thing. DC is a boy's own thing, and they're trying to change that playing field.
Yes.
It's just stupid.
Marvel made 1.131 billion USD.
Amazing. But also, the one at the top, which is the black girl that was in the Scarlet Witch TV show.
Monica Rambeau.
Oh, that's who she is.
Yeah. What? Do you know what I mean? It's like she got powers because she walked through a door or something like that. It's just so stupid, and I don't even know why she's there, because nobody
They
can
don't know
remember
what
her.
you suffered for them.
Yeah, what a load of bollocks, eh?
They'll never know.
Yeah, exactly. What a load of rubbish.
Here you go, Atom Gray. We'll leave the final word to Atom Gray. I'll start again. Reshoots, son. Reshoots.
No,
Who's the one at the bottom?
That's Ms.
Yeah.
Marvel from the eponymous
Oh,
show. Ms. Marvel.
The girl with the big ass. That one.
Yeah. You said it, but yes.
Oh my God, Ian.
You can just
look.
consider
Right, there's no-
this her debut
there's-
because
there's-
no one watched her show.
There's no point in skirting around the issue, right? She's not very good looking. She's
Well,
got a big ass,
Losing
right?
my money on the stream.
Nobody
it
says
does.
this. Nobody says this, and it's driving me crazy. Why isn't anyone mentioning this? Do you know what I mean? Brie Larson. If Brie Larson takes her boots off and takes her socks
Oh,
off,
toes.
the movie,
No.
the movie's
No.
done. The movie's done. What can I say?
Although I would. Okay, let's move on then.
Maybe
Brown
that's
would
the
still
secret.
do
That's
it.
the secret location of their magic powers. Her ass is big because that's where the magic is stored. they could be.
Marks for justice?
Yeah.
Just ass.
You could write that into the show. I would like that. That would be
That would be
funny.
great.
I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason why we put beautiful people on screen, is because that's
Why-
what people
why-
aspire to
why?
be. If you look at the Fantastic Four, the last Fantastic Four film was absolute nonsense. You had Jessica Alba playing Invisible Girl. She's gorgeous. Do you know what I mean? Why would you?
I didn't see Invisible Girl.
See
Thinking man's
Storm?
joke.
Okay, I'm trying to ignore.
Can we
that.
move on, because there's a lot of slides?
Just quickly on that though, the reshoots thing again. Anyone who was hoping that Phase 5 would be this sudden dramatic resurgence of the MCU after Phase 4, everything we're hearing about the production and the way it has to be redone and reshot and all the writing and all the films they're releasing all strikes me as exactly the same, if not more dysfunctional than Phase 4 was. So the best I think we can hope for is that we've got another Phase 4 on our hands. I don't see it getting any better, and this is just more proof of that.
In the chat, Jewish bastard, Captain's Marvel's ass is a hole sucking the fun out of every film she's in.
I mean, it's not
Savage.
It's not an attack. It's not an attack on her. The point I'm trying to make is that why are we now deciding to put people that are not aesthetically good looking for the screen?
Because
People
ugly
still
people
want-
get upset. That's why.
People
We
still
said last
want
week.
that. They still want it, though.
Because
you
you
just
gotta
look at
pander
it.
to ugly people.
Yeah, really.
Tom
the whole
Holland. Tom Holland
body-
has a better ass than Brie Larson anyway. So
Exactly.
Oh, that's sad,
It
but
does.
true.
Hostman's,
like the whole- Man, sorry, Brown.
Go on, Rennie.
Well, no, the whole body positivity movement has really, like, I understand the whole, like, don't be like, anti-fat or making fun of me because I've got like, a little bit of excess weight,
Two
but
heads.
they've gotten to the point where it's all so in your face that if you don't say out loud that, yes, being like, oh, morbidly obese is attractive and beautiful, then you're an asshole. You know, and people don't realize that that kind of lifestyle isn't healthy. You're susceptible to more things like diabetes and heart issues and stuff like that. But at the same time, we're supposed to encourage these people to be unhealthy.
Also,
And-
right, you see
Yeah.
these
Denial.
magazines, you see these magazines with these obese models, right? So how come they don't advertise Diet Coke?
Monetization gone.
How come they don't advertise Diet Coke with an obese model? Because Diet Coke is meant for people of that size, so that they can drink less
That's
sugar,
true.
right?
Although,
So
as
why
Donald
don't-
That's
Trump,
where it was targeted originally.
as Donald
yeah.
Trump himself said, I have never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke.
Yeah. So, so none of it makes
Hostman-
any sense to me.
It doesn't.
None of
It's a crazy world. Hostman Socrates, $5. Thank you, Hostman. Carol Danvers was a great character as Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel was a dude.
Yeah, he was. He was. Miss Marvel was gorgeous in the comics. The way she was drawn
Yes.
and everything, she looked hot. You know, I don't understand why that's so bad now. Really, I don't. You just got to look on Instagram. Look how many
Feelings.
women are showing their bodies and stuff like that. You know, it's no mistake that they got thousands following them. It still works today.
Here you go, Billy Bob. The correct term is bigot.
I just like the idea that you get like this morbidly obese villain, and the entire phase is that they just have to stay alive long enough for the diabetes to get him.
When are we going to get a villain called like something like the lard ass or something?
Last
Diabeto.
man. Diabeto.
It's not a good thing
Says
to show
eating
your
pizza.
kids obese people, because that's not what you should aspire to be. You should aspire to be healthy because you live longer. Do you know what I mean? That's what they should be teaching our kids, but they're not.
I
It's
know.
ridiculous.
Buzzword,
No, I
folks. Visceral fat. We'll move on from.
Visceral.
We'll move on from that. Here we
I
go.
was just talking about fantastic.
So the nub of this story is casting is being geared up, and Sue Storm is going to be the main character of Fantastic Four.
How do you know
Oh,
this?
Lord.
Is that what they're saying?
Well, it's on the internet and it's true.
I was gonna say, does the focus of who they're casting first really mean who they're, necessarily going
So they're looking for Sue
Probably.
Storm first. Maybe they've already got Mr. Fantastic. Maybe they've already got him. Maybe they're casting that fellow with the big ears again. Can't remember. his
You know
name.
what though? With the
Dumbo.
original Fantastic Four movies, they actually had decent people for the parts. The writing was just crap.
Yeah, it was. But the thing is, it's really hard to bring the Fantastic Four to life because it's
Yeah.
very much an American family, and it's very much, in the place where these mad lefties don't like, and these mad lefties are in charge of Marvel. So it's going to be interesting to see what they cough up in the end, right? We'll
Yeah.
There's also there's an aesthetic problem as well, which is that there are some things which are so evidently 80s, and there are some things which are so evidently comics that it makes it very difficult, I think, to update them, to use the horrible phrase, for a modern audience. Fantastic Four has always struck me as a little bit like that, and the
Yes.
problem with the original run of films, the Silver Surfer is such an 80s-ish comic book villain. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
dated. It's very hard to put that on the screen today and to expect a modern audience to do anything other than cringe at that. And the MCU as a whole has that problem as well. Thanos was a brilliant choice for villain because
Yes.
the name sounds so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a reason Thanos is chosen. Thanos has been in the language since our language was ancient Greek. But if you're then updating that for things like Kang again is that screams comic books, and it screams kind of slightly outdated cringe. And unless you've been bored up reading those comics in that generation,
But
Wait until
Ben,
you
I
see
don't
his
know that you can
costume.
easily.
No,
like-
hold on. But Ben, I'd just like to say,
Easy,
right, that
easy,
I
easy.
thought that about Captain America. When I heard they're going to bring Captain America, I was thinking that's not going to work.
Yeah, how are they
But
going
they-
to make
that's
that work
fair.
on screen?
But it's
yeah, I
character.
thought the same.
But
Best
it
character.
did, because it was really good writing, and the first film was really well directed. And this is what they've got to do. They've got to get a really good writer to bring the Fantastic Four to life, to bring it to a point where you can accept it. Because like when I look at Captain America's costume, I was like, he's going to look stupid in that costume. But they didn't go
Yeah.
that route, did they? They did something better. So that's what they have to do with this.
Here you go, folks. Johnny Lawrence's mum, they already made the perfect Fantastic Four movie. It was called
Yes,
The
yes,
Incredibles.
yes.
Good film.
It is a good film. That's what they
Maybe
should do with it.
Maybe get the
really.
people who did The Incredibles to make it.
Nah, they've been sucked up by Disney as well, isn't it? Pixar.
Oh yes.
So, there you go. But see, it can be done. I do believe it can be done. You just need a really good director and a really good writer to sit down and.
Do you
hash
know
it
anybody, Ian?
out. Well, I would put myself forward, but
I knew you were going to say that.
Do we
Anyway,
care? We do though. We do care, but it's not going to happen, is it?
I'm on Blue Boy side. I do like Marvel. I hate what they're doing to now, but Fantastic Four, please let it be good.
Is Feige
Please.
and Disney the problem?
Yes,
Yes.
They might be now.
Yeah.
they are definitely.
Feige's
Which is-
got a certain sniffing his own farts air to him at the moment. Everything is the next best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, even the shill reviewers goes, "This is the greatest movie since the last one."
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit tired of that.
Yeah.
I don't honestly think they'll do the Fantastic Four any justice at all.
They probably won't.
No.
Okay, we'll leave the last word to Appion. It's clobbering time.
So, and also the thing is, the best thing about that Fantastic Four comics, I remember reading that when I was a kid, and the thing always used to make me laugh. And I hope, this is what they got to do, man. It's such a shame. Oh, well, never mind. Let's move on, shall we?
I think no hope on this one. Shall we move on?
And Bob Hope.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Please take it off the screen.
Robert
Oh.
Pattinson, Batman, is rumoured to appear in the Penguin series.
Is he going to be wearing a fur coat and a skirt by any chance? Is he?
I mean, you might as well. I mean,
It was, in his defence, it was a very, very nice coat. Movie Cynic, you'll be looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate if for him to be in the show. That's pretty cool. I hope they keep it to a minimum. I don't want him to be like an active. I kind of want him to be in the background if he's going to be in it.
Is it-
like Darth Vader in Rogue One or something? That type
Is
of
it
thing.
going to be Colin
Colin
Farrell? Is it
Colin Firth.
Farrell?
Colin Farrell.
Why make a TV series about the Penguin?
Well, they've done that before. That was literally the point of Gotham.
Yeah,
It was a penguin origin story.
yeah. Why would you do that? Why bother?
Well, HBO Max needs content for one,
Right,
and
right.
if you didn't like the movie, I'd be interested to see what they do with his character because he's pretty intriguing. He was one of the best parts of the movie. Colin Farrell was so much fun.
Here you go, folks. Hostman, wingman of the channel. Emo Bat sucks. Change my mind.
Suck my dick right now.
I agree with not with what Movie Cynic said, but what he said. Because Robert Pattinson as emotional, like Bruce Wayne / like pansy Batman, I didn't like him. I think that role was better played by Christian Bale, by Ben Affleck, and by Michael Keaton. I'm sorry, Pattinson is not macho enough to be Bruce Wayne to me. Bruce Wayne was tough and strong without even having his batsuit on. This guy is not.
I just have a problem with the movie. That's all. Just thought the movie was.
It just
never
he didn't
seen it.
play him right. He played him as an emotional, like, oh my god, like everything is like so sad and life is so hard. And it's like, yeah, Bruce Wayne goes through pain, but you know what? He gets stronger from it and he kicks ass.
Well,
And
that's
also
the
he-
point of
Wayne
the
was-
movie. That's his arc, though. That's where it ends.
Yeah, I feel like because
He eats well.
Movie Cynic is unwell, and so it's wrong for us to all be ganging up on him. So I'm gonna
No, we do it
the
when he's well
charitable
anyway.
thing. Well, yeah, but now he's sick.
Hey,
and
equal
that's just
rights,
cruel.
man. Equal
So I'm gonna-
opportunity here.
I know. I'm
Don't
gonna
stick
take.
up
I'm
for
gonna
him.
take the Movie Cynic side with qualifications. This particular idea, this show, I can see
Here we go.
some utility in crafting like a micro universe on the screen, which is very much of the same sort of aesthetic style, that very hyper stylized, very grungy look at sort of the Batman universe in Gotham. And I think maybe the small screen is the place in which to do that. That the small screen is usually better for innovating on established characters than the big screen is anyway. I think you could do interesting things with the world that they created in that film. I have many of the same problems as anyone else here with Robert Pattinson as the Batman. I don't necessarily think he is the best choice for leading a Batman franchise. But if you're trying to build like another Gotham sub-universe on the small screen, by all means give that a go. And then keep this Batman there so we can have an actually good Batman on the big screen.
They did it already. It's called Gotham.
Yeah, there you go.
But this has more money and looks different. therefore, it's worth it. I don't know. I'm
You know
trying
what?
here.
If he shows up to one of the premieres with like the Sam Smith suit, I'm just gonna laugh. Because Pattinson is a freaking nut. He is a nutcase.
He was okay in Tenet, I thought, but anyway. that's
He's
just
a
me.
good actor. He's
they
good
have
in
a good,
Lighthouse. He was really good in Lighthouse. Sorry.
They have a
Pattinson
good
isn't
place
the worst
for
Batman,
this.
but for me, he's
Talking over each
definitely
other.
the worst
Sorry.
Bruce Wayne.
Sorry, go ahead, movie cynic. Go on.
I was just gonna say, like, the concept that they can probably run with is pretty good because the Penguin's in a good space. He runs the Iceberg Lounge where all of the criminals come through, so there could be, all kinds of concepts to utilize there. So I'm interested to see what they do.
Do you know what he reminds me of? Al Pacino in Dick Tracy. Do you know Al Pacino?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of reminds me of
definitely.
him a bit for some reason. I don't know why. There you go.
Mhm.
Oh, big boy. Big boy.
Yeah,
Al.
big boy,
Al,
yeah.
big boy
That's me.
something. Yeah. Oh, get
Shall
out.
we-
But you also get like that there is this increasing sort of cinematization of cinema anyway, which Disney's been doing anyway. Like if you look at the number of MCU Disney Plus projects, which have the budgets of small films, and they certainly have the production value of small to medium sized films that you would see in the cinema. And they have much bigger name actors than you're used to seeing in sort of serialized TV shows. If you can get Colin Farrell back doing Penguin, I think he probably was one of the better parts of that film. And you could make quite a cinematic production, which again really delves much more deeply into the world, which I'm sure they wanted to do. I mean, I never left my problem with the Batman as a film was never that I thought the world was shallow. I thought quite the opposite. I think they took quite a lot of care to try and establish depth in that world that they just didn't really allow themselves to use very much. So again, it might be better for a small screen. If you can combine that with the kind of budgets that are being thrown around on TV shows today and the access to actors that we have on TV shows these days, you could actually do something quite compelling, and you would have a legitimate Batman spin-off with the Batman occasionally present, just as we used to do, but back in the days when we could only afford to do that in animated shows. And hopefully, you could revive that live action, and maybe you can have that as a good dovetail to the mainline DC stuff.
Is this produced by Bad Reboot?
No, but we're talking about the Penguin. Do you know what I mean? Who wants to see the Penguin as a TV show? I don't want to see the Penguin as a TV show.
I assume it's going to be something that's like a 5 or 6 episode series.
Yeah,
Nothing like at
But
length.
why,
Sounds
though?
like a
But
mini
why?
series, yes.
Do you know what I mean? They tried it with Alfred. Do you know what I mean? I was like, well, why would I want to watch?
Yeah, but
Alfred?
Alfred's Alfred. Like,
Do you know what I mean? Why would I want to watch Alfred? They did that, and that didn't do very well. I mean, the only thing that did do well was
There you go, Atom
Gotham.
Grey.
Gotham did very well. So
Yes,
5
it did.
seasons, didn't it?
Atom Grey shooting from the hip. No one.
I'm saying. I mean, I think Penguin's the wrong person to make a TV show out of because it's Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell.
There
Because
you
it's
go.
him.
Johnny
You know what I
Lawrence's mum. No one wants this.
That's true. Nobody
Especially
wants
Johnny.
This. Nobody
Okay.
wants this. They're on
Yeah.
some kind of high on drugs or something like. They think people, some people will watch it, but it won't be a huge hit, and it's just
It probably
throwing
won't,
money
'cause
down the
nothing on-
drain.
Nothing on HBO is a hit anyway.
Oh, right, okay.
But I think that's the thing, right? Like, I didn't ask for this. If I didn't have it incoming, I wouldn't give a shit. But I'll still, like, I'll give it a chance because I like the Batman. I think that's what they're counting on.
Yeah.
Look at the ratio, though. At the moment, the best things that are coming out are things that nobody wanted or asked for.
Exactly.
The weight of expectation that comes behind mainline characters tends to mean that studios pay a lot of attention to them, and they get the approved
safe.
directors in, and so they all look the same, and they all send the same message, and they're all pretty shit. But then you get unexpected things that come out and do things differently precisely because nobody was expecting them. And I'll say Andor's the example I can think of, but there are others. No one wanted or expected that. It did something different,
You
and
loved that, didn't
for
you?
some people, at least, that worked very well. At the very least, it tried a brand new approach and did not have the same faults and flaws as other productions did. So maybe the fact that nobody would want to see this, or nobody was asking to see this, might allow it the creative freedom to do something genuinely interesting in the way that most superhero films these days cannot do.
Yeah, but Andor was shit.
Well,
Well, I didn't watch
I was going to say, I knew that
Easy
was going to lead to
children.
this.
It was,
I
though.
can-
It really was bad.
I can confirm that Johnny Lawrence does not want this. Shall we
But,
move
look,
on?
yeah, you know what? Everybody's
move
entitled
on?
to- entitled to their opinions.
Do
That's
it.
great.
Can we
I
move
know,
on?
but The argument holds
Move
whether or
on,
not you think
Brown.
it was good. The argument
Can we
holds.
move on,
Like, I'm
please?
happy for people to say that they didn't like it and they didn't think it was good. That's fine. My argument wasn't that resting on the fact that it was brilliant. I mean, I thought it was just good. I didn't think it was brilliant. My argument was, though, that it did something very different that we weren't expecting, and it wasn't shit in all the ways that every other Star Wars product is. So at the very least, it will be bad in a different
But the
and
thing is, he
interesting way.
died. He died in the end.
I
so
prefer
anyway. Shall
to
we move
give
on?
people what they want and do it well. That's what I prefer. When I'm not up for having seconds or
Sloppy
scraps.
ones.
Do you know what I mean? Sloppy seconds.
Sloppy
No.
seconds of crap.
I'm
Can
up
you-
for having what
can
I
you-
want good. You know?
Can you give me what I want, please? Moving on.
Ooh.
Ben, you're up.
What?
Okay. I will
Brown
just
wants
quickly
somebody to
mention
give him what
this.
he wants.
Oh God, no!
Shut up, you're
how, much,
dirty. Dirty.
how much is he offering?
I don't know. How much you got, Brown?
Probably not enough.
Funny.
This pack it in, Rennie. This will be coming back in about 5-6 weeks' time.
Is
Season
this the last
3.
season? Is this the last
I-
season, Ian?
Didn't James Gunn say people seem to like this, so it's probably got another 1 or 2 seasons. I probably think it'll go to 4 at least.
James Gunn doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Is
Well,
this
I hope
Fugly
it does.
Superman?
Yes, Fugly Superman.
Eh.
Yeah. Here you go, happy on. I like Superman and Lois. I will be watching season 3. I will as well.
Same.
Z, will you be watching
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I love Superman and Lois. It's
Yeah.
the best thing that I've seen on the
Did they
CW
drop-
since season 1 of
Did
Green
they
Arrow.
drop-
Ugliest
the actor.
Superman ever.
What about the kid that played his son? Did they drop him or is he still in the show?
Is not in it. Apparently, I think it was some. He's you know, the jabs we're supposed to have. I don't
Yeah.
think he had them
Oh,
because it's shot in Canada. I think that was the
right.
issue.
Okay.
I see that they've cast somebody who pretty much looks exactly like him, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well. So what's the poster? There's 3 people in that poster, right? So we got, what is that? Is that Lois and Clark? at
Yeah,
the bottom?
apparently that's the new Fortress of Solitude, and it's for his family.
Lord.
Ah, right. I
No,
mean,
not for the Lord.
not much of a design really for the house, is it? Let's face it. No windows, no door.
Well, it's a Fortress of Solitude, so, you know, I mean, I don't think he ever had windows on his Fortress of Solitude, did he?
Yeah, don't think so. But he doesn't feel the cold, does he? So
No,
No,
he
here you go,
doesn't.
Jewish
He's
bastard.
impervious.
I haven't seen this. I know nothing about it. Perhaps you should check it out because it's quite good.
it's called Superman.
Superman
and
is
Lois.
ugly.
Or Fuckily Superman and Skinny Lois. That's what it's called.
Okay, so Z, we're going to be watching this, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
And I know Matt Katz is really looking forward to this. So,
I'm gonna watch it, nerds. Yeah. He says,
so I will say, guys, if you've not watched Superman and Lois, especially if you're in the UK, you can watch it on BBC iPlayer. I suggest you watch it. It's quite good.
oh.
So, should we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah. oh God.
Oh, no. It's the Prince of Canada.
That looks like a South Park Canadian.
It is.
It is, it
It's
is.
in the show. It's in the show. It's funny.
South Park took on Harry and Meghan.
Who saw this
Oh,
last,
God.
this week then?
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. Oh, we want
I
that
haven't
privacy.
seen it, but I heard they're trying to sue them already.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It's funny how they did them like Terrence and what's the other one called?
Terrence and
Philip.
Yeah, Philip. It's quite funny. Yeah. Absolutely hilarious.
I've not seen this yet, but I've been meaning to because I've got loads of South Park to catch up on. But I think Z's seen it. So
Oh,
what's
definitely.
is it good?
It's brilliant. I just love it. They're just doing the privacy world tour, just literally going from point to point, going, "We want privacy. We want privacy."
Privacy, privacy. We want privacy.
You're not my buddy, pal.
Not your
Bennett?
friend, buddy.
Some people have been saying it's back to classic form.
But,
South
That would
Park.
be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
still has its
last
moments.
Last
Sorry,
week's was
Zia.
pretty edgy too, so I definitely recommend starting this season if you've.
I
tried
feel
South
like-
Park.
There you go,
Ever
Andy Mouse,
since-
fucking funny.
I feel like ever since they brought on PC Principal, the show just hasn't been as fun for me. PC Principal sucks, man.
Yeah. Well, that was the same time as they tried doing serialized story arcs as well. Now, I
Yeah.
think even they themselves admitted that didn't work because they did a whole show celebrating the end of their serialization. So I don't think they were very comfortable with like running
That's
gags
very
of that
meta.
sort. Well, no, but they tend to do meta quite well. They tried something new, which is what you've been doing South Park for nearly 20 years, so it's probably
Yeah.
okay to try things. They didn't think it worked, and so they went back. But even at its best, even at its worst, it's still better than virtually any other comedy around. And if
Yeah.
it's getting back
Classic.
to its old format and form, the great and the lovely thing about it is that they will happily take on Harry and Meghan today, but they will take on Donald Trump if they want to
Costly.
tomorrow. There's no prisoners are taken. It's not biased comedy. It's not trying to
No, yeah.
push any message other than all of these people that pretend to rule you are shit and you should stop listening to them. Like, my political education comes probably from South Park first, the thick of it second, and Yes Men. third.
Here you go, folks. Johnny Lawrence's mum. We want privacy. Also,
Privacy.
please watch our show and buy the book.
Yeah, no, it's funny, isn't it?
Fund our privacy.
It is absolutely
There you go.
hilarious.
Classic South Park, yes.
You
No
expect
one's
my
ever
authority.
been able to take them down. They've survived Al Qaeda bombing their
Yeah.
offices. They've survived
Yeah.
the Scientologists, which is arguably worse. They will take everyone on. No one's managed to stop them. If Harry and Meghan try and sue them, which will be lovely to see,
How could
I
they
fully
sue
expect
them,
to
though?
imagine.
They
They
took
are-
on the
the-
Prophet Muhammad, man. Like,
They took on the Prophet Muhammad. Yeah, they fucking hell.
Yeah.
They survived Muhammad, which they basically beat God. So that's all right.
But they're
Yeah.
under the parody thing, aren't they? So they can't sue them. They're under the parody. So they can't. How can they win that case?
They
Other
would
people have
try. I
tried.
mean, they are very, very good. Harry and Meghan are both, well, their legal team, rather, is very good at picking the right jurisdiction. So defamation law, for example, is much stricter in the United Kingdom than it is in the United States. So if the episode is broadcast in the United Kingdom, theoretically you can attempt to sue them in a UK court, and there's a lower
wow.
standard for proof there. I don't think they would try it because even then, I mean, it's so obviously under protected expression. I don't think that they would stand a
They
chance in
can
hell.
dish it out, but
But
they
they
can't
will-
take it. That's the
They
problem.
are
with them.
egotistical enough to try, though, which is the point. I half think maybe that Matt and Trey are hoping that they will try doing something just to prove how ridiculous they
There you
are.
go. Matt and Trey are scorched earthers.
Yeah, Time Prophet in the chat says
Yeah.
something I picked up as well. They didn't mention them by name. They didn't call
Hmm.
them Harry or Meghan during the course of the episode.
And nor did they.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, nor did they have the book because
There you go.
there's Waaagh at the bottom. So they don't have the name of the book either. So I don't see how they're going to win if they try to. So
Well, they had a whole conversation. The episode with the first one that pissed off the Scientology. No, the one that pissed off Tom Cruise. When Tom, I mean, yeah, they survived Tom Cruise as well. Because Tom Cruise went to
There you go.
Paramount, and Paramount owns Comedy Central after the Locked in the Closet episode. And Tom Cruise said, I will never do another film for you unless you take the episode down. And they stuck to their guns, and Paramount sided with them ultimately, which is quite
Well, and
impressive.
you guys remember why Isaac Hayes quit the show before he died, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole
'Cause-
Scientology thing as well.
Yeah,
But they had
but
a
they
conversation.
still went on without Chef.
They had a conversation with their lawyers, with the Tom Cruise episode in particular, which might be the closest analog in the sense that he's a celebrity and he's an egotist and he's mad. They had a conversation with the lawyers and say, well, can we say Tom Cruise is gay? And the lawyer said, no, you fucking can't say that, no. So they said, well, can we say he's in the closet? And the lawyer said, no, you can't do that either. So they said, well, can we literally put him in a closet in the show? And the lawyers looked into it and said, yeah, you could probably get away with that. So that's what they did, and that's how they survived.
Well, and then in episode, was it 200 and 201, they called him a fudge packer because he was in a fudge factory packing fudge into boxes.
I love it how you know the exact episode number.
I sure do. Well, because they don't have names, they're literally called 200 and 201.
Yep.
Those are they're two of the three episodes that you won't find online anywhere.
But
And
you
I
know,
have them.
They took the mickey out of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas loves the show.
Yeah, he
You know what
doesn't
I mean?
care. He knows.
He loved what they did. Do you know what I mean? So he got his kids to watch it and everything. So he was just happy to be
Here you
in
go,
it.
folks. Time profit on the Tom Cruise gags. He does love his gags. Tom Cruise had a very small closet.
I think it's more that Tom Cruise's penis would fit in a very small closet. But
But that's the thing, you see, if there's truth in it, that's when they get upset, isn't it? So
Yeah.
there's definitely truth in the Meghan and the Harry thing, and also the Tom Cruise thing.
They're just horrible.
That's why they get
people.
Truth
upset.
hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just
totally.
horrible. Anyway, okay, so
Horrible hoes. Sorry.
classic South Park. How old is South Park now? 20 years. Is it 20 plus?
20.
or-
Almost
5.
30. I
yeah,
think.
no, it must be because it's the early 90s it started,
Yeah.
I think.
It's at 95 or 96. something
Yeah,
like
it'll be 30 in a couple years.
It was one of the first ever. It was the first ever like viral media phenomenon before there was the internet. Because they did what was it? It was Jesus versus Santa Claus before they actually.
Yeah,
did
I
South
remember
Park.
watching
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
first couple.
the
and when
initial
they-
pilot.
They did
Yeah.
that out, and they went to Sundance, the film festival, and just camped outside and just hawked the video cassettes around. And then eventually it got into the hands of people like George Clooney, and they were like, "This is hilarious." So they just sent copies of the videotape, physical cassettes, around to each other, and it became a viral phenomenon before the internet, which is really difficult to do. And that's sort of what kicked them off, and that's why they had quite an easy job getting celebrities on in the first seasons when they wanted to do that. They Tom York and Jennifer Aniston, and they had quite a few big actors on as well.
George Clooney was in the South Park movie.
Yes,
That's the doctor.
yeah.
Yes.
That's the doctor
Was
that
it
put
the
the
dog?
potato in,
But he was
in
also-
Kenny's heart.
I think he was in one of the early episodes is like Stan's dog. I think
Yeah,
it was
the dog. It did.
second
that's
season.
Red Rocket.
Yeah, the dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Red- yeah, that was
what's
him.
his name did the cat. Jay Leno was Cartman's cat in one episode too.
Yeah.
So,
My niece told me she didn't understand anal probe. She didn't realise what that was until
Cheers,
she saw
Ian.
that.
Doing your
Until she
best.
saw that episode in
Jeez.
South Park. So there
If
you
you want to
go.
feel old, this March it'll be 25 years of South Park.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
On that bombshell, we'll move on.
yeah.
Speaking of bombshells, did anybody see this? And this has been greenlit, apparently. A reimagining
Oh, for
of
God's
the
sakes.
great 1970s Car Keys and Clutch.
Why bother?
And gender swapped.
Not excited.
Why bother? You see, this is the
Probably
thing
be
that really
interested.
pisses me off. These people cannot
Fox is
create.
Disney, by the way.
They don't have an original bone in their body. They have to take something and try and twist it to their mental stupidity. That's what
Yes.
they're doing.
It is going to be
Idiots.
bad.
It's shit as well because the female-led comedy now is synonymous with stuff like this, Ghostbusters
Yeah.
2016, She-Hulk, Velma. Like, there are loads of genuinely funny women around, but they just don't tend to get through the doors at studios to begin with. And now, like, the culture is taking it on board that if something is billed as a female-led comedy, the emphasis is on female, then it's on lead, and the comedy doesn't even come into it because it's just utterly abysmal. I mean, if your gender is represented in comedy by the likes of Amy Schumer
Hey, Sean.
or Hannah Gadsby, then you're not gonna you are gonna suffer as a whole. There are many intelligent female writers who can write really funny stuff out there. I mean, even Phoebe Waller-Bridge can do comedy if she really wants to. Like, she's not terrible at the funny stuff. She just has kind of one-note humor, but she is quite funny when she wants to be. The problem is that, but this kind of thing just sets back the cause of actually bringing women into frontline comedy because like, you're just elevating people because of their gender, not because they're funny. You're expecting people to applaud them, not laugh at them. And that's what female-led comedy has become. I don't want that. I think most women probably wouldn't want that. I don't know many women who laugh at this kind of thing. So stop it and actually find some funny women instead.
Just create
let's-
something new.
Oh, Andy in chat, Veep. Veep was great. Julia Louise-Dreyfus was brilliant
Yeah.
in Veep all the way through. Like she I don't know how much she wrote of
Yep.
Veep, but she played the part incredibly well, and she's a very good comic actress. It's possible. It's just that for some reason the meta is you have to bring women through the glass ceiling. So we're going to reach down to the people we know, and we're going to pull them through the glass ceiling. and then we're going to put them on the stage rather than allowing women to actually earn their way to the top by being funny, which is how men had to do it.
Let's not forget the Ben Stiller kind of comedian film of it was the original 1970s was a serious cop show.
Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah, it was a proper cop show.
Yeah, the first episodes on YouTube, and it is a really good pilot episode. It really is.
Yeah.
I really
In
enjoyed it.
the chat, Z3PO, I'll only watch it if Lizzo is playing Huggy Bear.
Oh, and she has to
Ugh.
be scantily clad in every episode.
Yes,
It'll be under
or in
contract.
full-on pimp gear. I mean, this is going to go the same way
Cellulite.
as Queen Latifah's Equalizer, isn't it?
Oh, that's still going as well.
Queef Latifah.
Does
Oh,
anybody
stop.
watch that?
Well, obviously people watch it because it's still going, right?
It's still going. Me and Ian and I watched the first episode.
I'm happy to say I don't know what any of those words mean, so I don't know what you're talking
So Queen
about.
Latifah is playing the Equalizer on network TV.
Who or what is a queen? Where's she queen of? What is a Queen Latifah?
Well, God, you don't know.
She
who Queen
started out
Latifah
as a
is.
rapper in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's like a big boned
POC.
woman, black woman who sings rap. Well, used to sing rap.
Yeah.
But now
Just
she's
say she's big
an actor.
boned.
Oh well, I can't. Well,
Large-boned, yes.
I've said so much on this stream. I don't really want
Really
to add
nice,
more
dude.
to it. Yeah.
Well, it's got to the point where I will be paying YouTube with you guys.
Yeah, just let
find you.
the monetization's gone. Just let the filter off and say what you really need.
But yeah, I mean, it's so funny because me and Ian were watching the episode, and
Oh, it was
she
bad.
actually fights people, and it's just so ludicrous because she's moving so slow. It's so ridiculous. It's because she can't fight. Obviously, it's obvious to anyone. But anyway,
Here you go, folks. We'll give the last word to Tim. I like saying this, Hannabom. The car will be a Tesla. Very good.
Starsky
A
and Hutch,
racing
though,
Tesla.
really good. It was a really good I mean, season 1 and 2 were terrific. The
Yeah,
rest
it was
of the
really
I
good.
seasons
even
were
thought the
rubbish.
movie was pretty cute.
It was okay.
I
The movie was
didn't
okay.
like the comedic take on
Yeah.
it. They could have done something serious.
Yeah.
And I think I'd have liked
But dude,
it more.
Snoop Dogg as Huggy Bear was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was good, but I agree with Ian. They could have made a serious version of it, but then
Yeah.
they decided to make it a huge
Yeah,
show.
poor Chosley. But anyway,
Yeah.
should
You
we move
couldn't
on?
have Lizzo in anything involving cars. The car would just be all suspension.
And luckily, it'd be shot in widescreen. Thinking man's joke.
Thank goodness for the wide angle lens.
IMAX.
Did anybody see this?
Yes.
Liam
Is he
Neeson
wrong,
says
though?
Star Wars is being hurt by so many spin-offs. It's taken
Oh.
away
Was
the
it-
mystery and the magic.
There
About
was
time
actu-
somebody said that.
was he sat next to Paul Rudd as well in that interview?
Remember, he got in trouble by saying that about his friend getting mugged. Remember that? So he's probably going to get in trouble for saying this as well
Yeah.
now. So
Super chat, movie cynic. Who's that?
even
Who's
when
that
he is so sick, he gave you $9.99. Amazing.
Swear jar.
Can we read into this then that there's not going to be a Kenobi season 2 because he said that he won't appear in Star Wars again because it's
I
lost its
don't
magic?
blame him. I don't blame him. Do you
I'm
know who
glad
he's
he said
playing?
something, though.
Do you know who he's playing? He's playing Philip Marlowe in his next film. Philip Marlowe.
I thought he was doing naked. Naked
No,
Gun.
he's made it. I don't know what it was. Philip Marlowe. I can't remember what adventure
Private
he's in.
Dick.
But yeah, I mean, Philip Marlowe was played by Humphrey Bogart, and he's very stoic, and he didn't really punch anybody. But in the trailer I saw with Liam Neeson, he's beating people up. So there you go. A very different Philip Marlowe. This is going to be, but we'll see anyway. You guys don't know who Philip Marlowe is?
I have no
Private
idea. who you're talking
detective. Biased. Liam. Naughty
Philip
Liam.
Marlowe was a private detective. He was made famous by Humphrey Bogart in the 40s. Maltese Falcon. You heard of
It
Maltese
was
Falcon?
was it a
Yes.
TV series
Yeah.
as well?
Yes, it was played by Stacey Keach. No, it wasn't. He
No,
played
it-
some, no, he didn't play. He didn't play Philip Marlowe. A lot of
was
people
the-
played Philip Marlowe.
It was the famous American actor with the bald head, who I think he was in one of the
yes.
Marvel films, and I
Yeah, I
forget his
can't
name.
remember. Yeah.
Kojak.
No.
No. But anyway, look up Philip Marlowe. That's all I can say.
I might even have seen the film. Black and white things tend to sort of I
Maltese
forget the
Falcon.
titles. Yeah, I think I've seen.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
It's
it sounds
absolutely
familiar.
brilliant. Yeah.
But on Liam Neeson's spin-offs comment, I don't know how much of that is true. So, like, we used to have, obviously, we had the old expanded universe, which is a huge, vast wealth of effectively spin-offs. Nobody said at the time that the presence of the old EU was taking the magic away.
Well,
So
but at the
is
same
it that
time,
all the modern stuff is badly written?
that's
That-
the thing.
that
So
and there's
if
too
you
many of
actually read the old EU, the universe all felt like it fit together, right? The way it was written, the way George Lucas approved all these books. Initially, he was kind of against expanding it. Once he saw what they did with it, he was excited,
Yeah.
but they had to get his blessing before actually putting the books out there. So if you read a lot of it, yes, there's a lot of branching off, but at the same time, it all makes sense. It all fits into the same story. It's still all Star Wars. Unlike some of this stuff where it's like, oh, this like B character that we never knew ever heard about before, we're going to go ahead and give him a history that retcons everything just so we can kind of make a story for him. That's not how the expanded universe worked, which was nice. So.
And it all hinged around the mainline films as well, whereas at the moment, its attempt to recreate an expanded universe just doesn't have direction to it. So you can go from
Exactly.
the Book of Boba Fett to the Mandalorian, which cover different time periods and do different things, to Ahsoka, which is coming out quite soon, I believe. You can go forward in time, you can go backward in time, you can go all around time. The thing that everyone knows that it's supposed to be building around the sequel trilogy, but nobody wants to acknowledge that because everybody knows the sequel trilogy was garbage, which means that you don't have the same center point around which the world revolves. And there is no George Lucas figure anymore who's able to vet what is officially canon and what isn't anymore either. So there's
Or
no
at
central
least remind
direction.
them, hey, this character
Yeah.
actually has these kind of qualities, or actually sees things this way instead of this way. They don't have any guidance. It's just like, let's go for broke and just write some bullshit and try to figure out some way to make it fit together.
Content.
I wonder as well, like, how much of that is because the old expanded universe, obviously being comics and books, would have been for really dedicated fans. The casual normie type people wouldn't have seen it, and the general audience only would have had 6 opportunities really to see the mainline story come out on the screen. They were huge cinematic events. Certainly, all of the original trilogy, the prequels were still huge cinematic events, but they were very limited in number. Maybe the problem now is that, combined with a lack of direction in the expanded universe, everything is being put out to normies as well. So you don't have anywhere for dedicated fans to go. Everyone is getting the same stuff, basically. The expanded universe has been normified. So there's no deep lore anymore because all of it is just designed for people with no attention span.
And it's all just
Did you say something then?
See what you did there.
That's real funny.
I'm here all
Brown.
week.
But I think it's overkill. It's gotten to the point that if I actually didn't give up on Star Wars before, I probably would have by now, because I'm like, there's too much. It's all in my face. I'm not getting the option of, hey, a new book came out, I can read that. It's just, there's a show about every single character, and I don't really care about every single character, especially the new ones that Disney established. So I've got so many for these that it's too much.
No one really understands the utility of silence anymore. No one wants a gap between content. So no one's given any time to sort of think about it and ruminate on it and to imagine for themselves where the characters might be going. Now there always has to be something in your face on the screen, and I can see how that might sort of take the magic away from things. I think I still lean toward the idea that most of this is bad writing, and that if these things were just brilliantly written, we wouldn't necessarily feel the same way. But I think we might still feel something of that slight disenchantment from the fact that there's no time for us to imagine where these characters are going, because we're always
Down
seeing
the
it
toilet,
every
mate. That's
day,
where they're
every new show.
Back in the day, we had to wait 3 years for a new movie, and then between the prequels and the sequel, or the originals, it was quite a bit of time. But even the
16
books,
years. But like the reaction to the Phantom Menace when that
Yeah.
first came out. The people in the cinema
Wasn't
just standing
good.
up and cheering for the theme music.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about before the reviews came in.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
people had waited for 16, 17 years, and then Star Wars comes back, and it's such an event. The film turns out not to be very good, but when it first comes out, people are flocking to the cinemas to see this thing because finally there's Star Wars on again.
After all this, this waiting, we finally get something new. And I'll tell you, when I saw it in the theater, everybody stood up and clapped at the end.
Yeah.
So it was, it wasn't the best Star Wars movie,
Not
but
me.
it still felt like Star Wars. And it still was like, oh, wow, all this time we waited and we finally get to see something new instead of like, oh, okay, I can just turn on the TV and in about like a month, there'll be something else on,
Let's binge The Mandalorian Season 3, or The Book
Yeah.
of Boba Fett, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Ahsoka, or The Bad Batch,
Yeah.
or...
Here you go,
Well,
folks. Hostman Socrates, $5. Thank you, sir. He's thrown a link for some quality Star Wars.
When I was
YouTube
when I saw
content. I'll
the
leave out for a
Phantom
bit.
Menace, the whole of the cinema,
Cheers,
everyone
host.
had a lightsaber, and all this lightsabers
Yeah.
were lit up.
Yeah, they were there at the front. Yeah.
Yeah,
In my
I was
local
dressed
theatre,
like
yes.
kind of like Luke Skywalker when I went to go see it. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But I had braids in my hair. So yeah, I looked like
You look like Luke.
Good for you.
like a curvy Luke. Yeah.
Very good.
Gender swapped. That'll be the next
Well,
thing.
you could tell it was a girl though, Brown, okay?
Okay, should we move on?
Yes.
Oh God.
What is this doing on my screen again? I thought I moved on from
Exactly.
this.
Oh my god.
Marvel reportedly
yuck.
undertaking heavy slowdown of Disney Plus contents. Echo and Ironheart seemingly delayed indefinitely.
Oh
Yay!
no, FML.
What a surprise! What a surprise!
Oh no.
Never saw that coming.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Is
this
it-
has nothing to do with the major success that is Ant-Man 3. It didn't all happen around the past 3 days when that movie was released. The delays and
Isn't
the cancellation.
Ironheart so amazing? She just put all that together at college. All that
Yeah.
get up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it
She's a
me?
regular Shuri, isn't she?
Is it me?
Ugly suit. Ugly suit.
It is, because if you can't appreciate
okay,
how
right,
incredible
okay.
she is,
Right, it's me, everybody. Sorry.
that's you.
Okay.
Is that her hands? No, that's not her hands. She's got short hands. What's that name?
Jacob
That's all right.
Ironside, a man of few words, but when he does,
Mhm.
iron fart.
Man of the people.
Absolute nonsense.
No, who didn't see this coming?
I didn't see it coming.
Me?
And it also
Brown.
just shows too, like, is
you,
Disney
Rennie.
catching on? Because okay, so they delayed the two
the
female
money's running
hero
out.
side projects, and they delayed the Marvels, which you can't like scrap that. That's already too far along. But
tell
you
you
can
what-
reshoot it to try and make it better.
Here you go.
I tell you what's
here you go,
happening.
folks.
Disney is sitting there going, "How can we push our woke stuff without people noticing?" That's what they're doing. There's no way they're going to give up and say, "Let's stop this woke stuff now and make films that make money." There's no way.
Melvin
no way.
Deeply in the chat says, doesn't delayed indefinitely mean
Usually,
cancelled?
No, because Ryan Johnson's convinced he's got a 3-film deal coming
Well,
up.
that's a given. Isn't it? That's a given.
Mm.
That's on the back burner, isn't it?
It isn't what they call it developmental hell or some shit.
Yes,
Development hell, yeah.
development hell. Yeah.
and this is kind of what I was talking about too. That a couple streams ago, I think I mentioned like, yes, you might have an IP that's successful on paper. Like, let's say no matter what happens, if it was, if it went totally down the shitter, any MCU movie would at least make like $200 or $300 million worldwide. Like there'll
Yes.
always be that fan base, and that is a lot of money, and that's big. But when no matter what the production, it still costs $2 or $3 million just for the budget before you even factor in marketing and prints,
Well,
then it's not even profitable to make.
haven't
even though
they
you have
made a
300
rod for
sitting
their
there.
own back by making such expensive films?
Yeah, and that is their fault, but it is what it is. So at some point, you will price yourself out. Like, yes, you have a product that's worth something, but you don't have any money to produce it to recoup any costs. Like,
But
you're
then the
only going to
interesting
make.
thing with Ironheart and I think Echo as well, that they've either finished filming or they are very nearly finished filming. They're basically done. So
Oh,
I'm
man.
not sure what's left to do. and what the reason for the delay would be. If they've already spent the money to make the thing,
Perhaps.
what is the cause of the delay?
Perhaps it's not woke enough.
Okay, Brown.
I am. Thank you for asking. Shall we move on then? Because we know it's.
Yeah.
You,
Are we
you do
interested?
you do also have Star Wars really increasing its output at the same time, and these are still owned by the same company. So
There is that.
I don't know if money is money is a concern in the bottom line for Disney,
At the moment,
but
yes.
I don't know if money is going to explain why a finished Marvel product is being delayed while unfinished Star Wars products are being pushed forward. That seems a peculiar decision to me.
Agreed.
Well, common sense doesn't really run in Disney, does it? Let's face it. so-
Maybe they realise that what they've filmed is that shite that they're going to have to just get rid of it.
Well, a film with the budget of Wakanda Forever produced that suit. So what the TV equivalent's going to be?
Shit.
I mean, it's awful, but the TV equivalent can't be better than that. I don't imagine.
Utter
Maybe hefty character redesigns after the reaction to Black Panther might be good.
Z, do you like that suit? Oh,
Oh,
He's gone.
no.
Good
Oh
spring.
no!
he went critical mass.
I just
He be gone.
I think he shut down for
lost
the
his
night.
internet connection, he said.
Shall we move on, folks? Because
Moving on.
Yes,
we don't,
told
we
us
don't
on-
care. We don't
He told
care,
us
do we?
on Twitter that he lost his internet connection. That's suspicious.
Oh,
Nothing
yeah.
to see here.
Oh, come on.
Move
he probably
along.
lost his Wi-Fi, but still has data on his phone.
Okay. Just quickly for the Brits, the totally tropical taste is getting scrapped after 50 years on the shelves. Can you believe it?
What is
Never
this?
had one.
So this is a drink called Lilt, which has been
Totally tropical, man.
it's yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that advert. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So so it's being taken off the market now, and it's going to be remade into something else, but not called Lilt, apparently.
I thought they were
All right.
scrapping it completely.
No, they are, but then they're taking the same ingredients and making it into something else, calling it something else. That's what I've been told.
There you go, Jim D. I used to love Lilt 30 years ago. Yeah, I did as well. I can't remember the last time I had a tin of Lilt, though, to be fair.
I've never had
Yeah.
Lilt, but I do remember the
20
Jamaican
years.
person advertising it.
Yeah,
It's totally tropical.
that's a white man voice.
Really? I couldn't have told that at all. I'm so
That was so
glad you pointed that out.
Excellent.
Here you go, Andy Mouse. Cheers, Andy. Brown nails it. Yeah, adjacent sod. Totally tropical, man.
It's terrible.
Ian,
Shall we
could
move
you
on?
Say it? Could you say it?
No, I'm not going to lower myself.
Okay, so if you want a tin of totally tropical, you need to be quick.
An Irish guy.
Maybe we should do a hashtag save Lilt.
Nah, why would you want to save it?
That'll do the trick.
It tasted all right, but it's still. I wouldn't.
Yeah, Lilt was okay. Yeah,
It was all right.
It was a kind of very Christmassy drink for me. but there
It
you
worked
go.
for Zack Snyder, so it will work for Lilt as well.
Yeah, maybe we should get some bot farms to Twitterize it to get it saved. Anyway, okay. Totally tropical.
What am I
What's
looking
this?
at?
Anybody
What the
see
hell?
this?
Indeed.
Oh, yes,
Boobs
I
matter.
saw
Boobs
that.
lives matter.
I didn't do
Oh.
the BLM. Whoever did it, do you see what? That's a thinking man's joke. Whoever did that. First one on the left is probably the first Guardians Galaxy poster, and the one on the right is the current one for number 3.
Yeah,
That's
they
not reality, right?
desexualized Nebula, supposedly.
Unbelievable.
She made her look like a Texas trucker, man. What the fuck?
I know. These people are crazy. They're all crazy. Honestly, they really are.
She looks
Really
like
are.
she's getting a little belly there.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is what they want their children to aspire to be. Do you know what I mean? It's stupid.
I
really.
think Nebula was one of the genuine stars of the Marvel universe. I
She
thought
was.
Karen Gillen was fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic.
They made her look like a boy.
What a surprise.
That is
What a
beautiful.
surprise.
It's a really strange decision. So I'm going to be told by Mr. Brown that I'm plugging again. When on Open Bar, I coined the phrase "tits of." I coined the phrase "tits of desperation" to describe the way in which actresses beyond a certain age, or film studios which are suffering, certainly when they were back in sort of the 1970s, 80s, used to expose more boobs in a bid to get jobs. So that you'd have actresses who refused to get naked, the work would dry up, and then they would suddenly start getting naked all the time. And film studios like Hammer, for example. Hammer in the 1960s was popular, in the 70s was less popular, and in the 80s was going bankrupt, and so the amount of tits on display increased dramatically.
Breasts, by the way.
But this is like the opposite of that. For some reason, they've decided that, well, we're not making enough money anymore. The films aren't very successful anymore. So what are we going to do? Let's make all of the characters less attractive. That will do it. For some reason, though, it all comes down to the tits. It's just inverse now.
Breasts, by the way.
Well, not entirely. I mean, they shrank
Boobs.
Namor's package in Wakanda Forever, didn't
Oh,
they?
good point. Yes. Let's
So
just
they're desexualizing all of the characters.
yeah.
Well, except the male ones whose clothes they rip off on a regular basis.
Ah, yes. Sheer double fucking standards. Forgot about that.
Are you saying that Namor isn't a male?
Namor.
Not after they shrunk his willy.
It's not even the real Namor.
Why were
It's
you
not
looking
even the
so
real
hard?
Submariner, is it?
Here you go,
apparently?
John Z. Wokeism, yes.
They don't own the rights to him. Apparently, they don't own the rights. So they
Tit
didn't
is a
call him
nice bird, apparently.
Submariner. They didn't call him.
Especially in the
Submariner.
blue, yes. Okay. Time Prophet says, there was a few tits in Ghostbusters 2016, but it didn't sell well. I've never seen that.
2016?
I've never seen Ghostbusters 2016. Never seen it.
Mm-mm.
No.
There was
Have
no
you seen
boobs
it?
in that. I saw it.
It was a joke.
I know there's no boobs in that at all.
No, he was saying that the people, the lead actors, were tits.
I know. I was joking too.
I like Barbara Lawrence's shrinkflation comment, but that's tickled the economist in me.
Yeah,
From Johnny
that's-
Lawrence's mum. Shrinkflation at its worst. Barbara, how is Johnny? Is he okay? Okay, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Well, given there's
Gillen was
literally nothing to
fantastic.
see here anymore, why not?
Move along. Move on. Nothing to see. Nothing to see.
Move along. Move along.
Speaking of tits, I think we're about 4 weeks out now, aren't we? This drops this week. New poster.
Don't care.
Ugh.
Not watching it. I can't be asked watching this now.
Yeah, same.
Season 1 was okay. Season 2 was just bearable, and this one's going to be.
This
People
season's
who've
going to be
not watched
fantastic.
Boba Fett are going to be absolutely thrown when it starts.
Yeah. Fat Boba Fett. Remember that?
Well, at the end of season 2, he
Stop
got rid
fat
of
shaming.
Grogu, gave him to Luke, and now all of a sudden he's back.
Yeah.
Back
I
with the
know.
Mandalorian. They'll have to do
know.
it in a flashback at the start.
It
Just
will be
waiting
really
to appear
interesting to
with
see,
Rey.
how do they try and work in the fact that they stole 2 episodes from this show to try and revive the last show without it breaking this show. I'm with you. I think probably flashbacks is the way to do it. The Mandalorian is still the only product the ongoing product that I sort of, that there's something in me which still quite likes the idea at the very least. I like what they tried to do with season 1 in particular. I thought some of the writing was garbage. But I liked at least that they seem to be trying to just build out and take an interest in the world without tying it to galaxy-ending stakes. That I thought was good. You can do so much with the Mandalorian as a character, but I think it probably has been on a slightly downward trajectory, and I would be surprised if it's improved since.
Especially after Calculon died.
Well, hold on. I
Calculon.
don't understand. So when they decided to make Mandalorian, why? Because when I saw pictures from this, I thought it was a Boba Fett series. And then somebody said, no, it's not Boba Fett, it's Mandalorian. I'm like, who the hell is a Mandalorian? What is a Mandalorian?
Yeah.
So why didn't they make a Boba Fett series from the get-go?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, to be honest, that would have been the preferred approach. Like a young... Well, no, then again,
There
it
you go.
would be difficult to do.
Jacob
No,
says Mandalorians in the expanded universe are more badass.
Well, that's what I mean about there being so much you can do with the Mandalorian as a character and the Mandalorians as a people. Maybe Boba Fett, I think probably Boba Fett would have been a better vehicle to explore more of that if you changed his story and, sent him back to his roots, so to speak.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian in season 1 basically is the Boba Fett that we all sort of vaguely wish we'd had, but never got. I still think there was stuff to like, certainly in season 1.
There was,
Lord, what about this from Tim? I like saying this, Hannah. They should rerun the Boba Fett episodes as the first 2.
I mean, it would be
As
a
a
really
warm-up,
cheap way
as
of
a
filling
warm-up.
time, but
Yeah, I could do it as a warm-up.
They basically cast the wrong person to play Boba Fett. Some guy that's overweight and 100 years old. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And
Well, they did
know,
it
Talking
because
about the
he played him.
Mandalorian, though.
it doesn't
Because
matter.
he played Jango Fett.
I know,
in the
but they shouldn't have.
prequels.
They should not have cast him. They should have cast
No.
someone younger, thinner, and look, and basically Boba Fett should have kicked ass in all the way through it.
I
But he
think
didn't.
I think that was an example of the heart being in the right place, but the mind being in the wrong place. So the idea of recasting Tamura Morrison, I suspect was made because they believed, and I think rightly as well, that he would bring in a lot of fan appreciation. So they are actually going back to the actor who played Django and the actor who I like what they tried to do there. I think I agree with Ian. I don't think he was right for the. He goes into the Sarlacc pit and then he emerges 50 years older and several hundred pounds heavier.
Yeah.
It doesn't work
Yeah.
on the screen, but at least I think what they were trying to do was to bring back some of the nostalgic feelings we had. Much like with Picard, as we were talking about at the beginning, I think the heart was in the right place with that decision. And The Mandalorian season 1, I think the same thing holds. What that was about was trying to give us a side of a universe that we all knew should exist and that we all imagined seeing on the screen, and without trying to be too pretentious and too grand with the story it was trying to tell. I think with The Mandalorian, the heart's always been in the right place, but the decisions haven't always been the right ones.
They probably should have give him maybe an extra year to get the weight off.
Yeah.
No, they shouldn't have used him at all. They shouldn't have
That's
used
right.
Tamura Morrison.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was purely for member berries. Honestly, they should have gone with Daniel Logan.
And also,
Boba
they
Fett in Attack of the Clones, because he's perfect for the role.
and they should
Yeah.
never had him take his mask off. Boba Fett should have been a guy that was like a person that you can hate but also like. You know what I mean? He was like anti-hero.
Oh,
He should be
God.
going around kicking ass, shooting people, and chewing bubblegum. That's what he should be doing.
The
But
scene,
no.
the scene, the
Yeah.
scene in the final episode where Cad Bane knocks his mask off, that should have been the big reveal moment. He should never
Yes.
have had his mask off before then.
Exactly.
But because he'd had it off for the entire show, Cad
Yeah.
Bane takes this guy's mask off and he never removes his mask. So there's no dramatic reveal there at all. That's just, well, that happened. Just, again, I think, heart in the right place. Completely the wrong decisions. The writing is quite often subpar, and certainly in the Book of Boba Fett, that was just a garbage show.
Here you go, Johnny Lawrence's mum. Boba Fett went into the Sarlacc pit, a young, thin badass. He came out as a barrel-chested 60-year-old man.
Not only that, he came out wearing his armor,
That's right.
which was then taken off of him, and then he goes
Yeah.
back and tries to fly a spaceship
That's-
into the Sarlacc pit to find his armor.
That's a
Oh
technicality,
my
mate.
god,
That's a
that show!
Technicality.
But that's what I'm saying. It's really badly written. And look, Boba Fett is a badass, right? He's always a badass.
Bad.
Why did they actually deconstruct his character? I have no idea. I want to be good now.
Well,
I'm going to
even
be in charge of this
Tam-
town. It's like, what are you talking about?
Even
That's not Boba Fett.
Tamora Morrison said they shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have cast him. Do you know what I mean? Seriously. The guy was overweight and...
He was, although the nice thing about casting him for Boba Fett was that he kept giving those interviews where he revealed that he had a much better understanding of his character than the writers did. And if they'd taken his advice, it would have been a much better show.
he
So
should
at
have
least
wrote
it
it.
shows I think the casting was done in the right spirit, and I think the actor very much wanted to be a part of this again, and he really did understand the character, and he really wanted to add something to the role. He wasn't just there for a paycheck. I liked that about it, but none of that is present in the show itself. The show itself was fucking garbage. And then, of course, in The Mandalorian, you have the additional problem, which is that Pedro Pascal will no longer take on a role where he has to have a mask on full time. So The Mandalorian's already got his helmet off several times. and that will probably carry on. Like same with The Last of Us, they had to change the gas mask sequences because he wanted his face to be revealed. That's irritating. That's an actor who's there because he wants to be seen to be present, as opposed to Tamura Morrison, who had the right psychology but the wrong physiology.
Stewie, you should just fired him because it just fire the guy that was playing Mandalorian because he's wearing a mask. So it wouldn't matter to the audience who's playing him anyway. You would have just fired him. You know, if I was in charge, I would have fired him and got somebody else to replace him. That's it. End of story.
Ego Caranitas says he ate a few Rancor steaks and Bantha burgers down there. I saw we did there. Very good. Okay. Shall we move on? I think it's on in 5 weeks. Is it 5 weeks? End of next month? Or is it 4 weeks? No, it's 4 weeks.
Don't care.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Batman. I'm Batman.
Oh my
Picture was released this week.
I'm Batman.
Yeah. OG
I've got
Batman.
Keaton.
I've got a wig on. I'm Batman.
Doesn't matter.
I've got
Still
a
better
hairpiece.
than Robert Pattinson.
I'm Batman. I've got a hairpiece. A grey hairpiece.
Yeah. No, he looks fantastic. He looks great.
Michael
doesn't he?
Keaton is amazing as
I
Batman.
love
Bruce
Michael
Wayne.
Keaton. I even loved
Yeah.
him in RoboCop, the remake. I thought he was a
it was
lot
all right,
of fun
yeah.
in RoboCop.
God, that movie sucks so much.
I know
It
it does,
did
but he
suck,
was
though.
good though. He was good, man. He was good. Come on.
He's fun in everything he does.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's a nice guy as well. So, but yeah,
As we said, is in The Flash. I think his other roles have been sideswiped, so he's not in the other films. But The Flash, we said before, we think it's going to be the film of the year.
what happened to Vicky Vale?
She probably got ugly, so they didn't want to put her in the movie. You know what's funny is after the trailer, I'm pretty excited for this. I was like,
So am
oh,
I.
you know what? That
Yeah,
actually looks
same.
pretty good.
It does look good. It does look good.
You heard it first here, folks. I think The Flash is going to be the film of the year.
But I don't like the Supergirl. Looks like a little boy. She's flying around, and it's like,
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to be a boy, and then I realized that was a girl.
yeah.
Oh, well.
It does look interesting though. It
Sprinkle
does look interesting. Plus, he's wearing the Batman costume where he can't turn his head, which I love.
Yeah, and they
So I
even
love it.
showed-
I love it.
Like, did you see that they showed his mask and I don't know what you want to call it, but they showed it off, and it was like this huge piece in the trailer.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they showed Batman's mask like on its own. It was just
Yeah.
like sitting on a surface, and it's huge, like what Michael Keaton wore back in the day.
Here you go, folks. The Time Prophet. I am not excited for The Flash.
I got to admit that the trailer was quite good.
It's gonna
I
be the
like,
film
It
of the
was
year.
wanna
pretty
see that. I wanna
mesmerizing,
see
It's going
man.
to be
Yeah,
film
I
of the
wanna
year,
see
folks. I know it. I can feel it
If
in my
not for Ezra
water.
Miller, yeah. it looked
I was
great.
shocked that I really
Other than
wanted to
that.
see it after seeing that trailer.
But it looks like it retcons the whole thing. To have those clips from Superman versus Batman with the thing, or is it
Zod, isn't it?
Yeah, Zod and stuff like. So it looks like it retcons the whole. He does something and he breaks. He said he breaks the universe or break time. And
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see where it all leads. But I'm just psyched for Batman, man. You know.
Yeah,
there
that's
you
what
go.
they
Me
wanted,
too.
and that's what they're getting out of me anyway.
Noitats. I think it's Noitats. Butch Supergirl equals yee.
Yeah.
He seems
Yes.
to have a lot more hair than he did in the first Spider-Man movie.
That's because he's got a piece. He's got an earpiece on.
Batman, I've got a hairpiece on.
Yeah. So
Isn't that where he says,
Night to me.
"You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts again"?
if you
he
want to
says
get
that.
nuts, let's get nuts.
I'm pretty sure. he
Yeah, I
says
think
that
so.
again.
Yeah.
Jewish bastard in the chat. I can't help feel that Michael Keaton is a key jangle. It is.
It is.
To entice audiences.
Yeah.
I'm there. I love Michael's Batman, but I don't think he can save the Flash.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
It's-
I mean, the trailer itself was heavily loaded towards Michael Keaton. I
it
thought.
was. It
Yeah.
was.
I think
Almost
we're
like
all
they're using him to sell the movie over.
Well, why can't they
Ezra
just bring
Miller.
Batman back? What with Michael?
Because
Keaton,
you wish
like
it.
Older. Oh yeah. Of
A
course,
manly
of course.
Batman.
Yeah. No. You know, like Batman older in that
Yeah.
universe with Michael Keaton. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Here you go, folks. Johnny Lawrence's mum. I would be totally down for Batman
Yes,
Beyond with
yes.
Keaton.
Same.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be pretty.
Very
cool.
underrated
Yeah.
animated series. I love Batman Beyond.
Plus, he's such a good actor. He's so immerses himself in everything that he does. I love Michael Keaton. I think he's a great actor. It's a shame he hasn't been appreciated more, in my
I
opinion.
agree.
But anyway,
I'd probably agree with that. Okay, so I think we're all looking forward to Keaton, yes?
Yes.
Flash. The Flash will be the movie of the year. Moving on.
No.
what's this?
This was a picture of Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix. This is the first picture released from.
Still not sure which is which.
Yeah.
Is this a musical?
This is for the
Yeah.
Joker, second Joker
No idea.
movie.
Lady Gaga, though.
It's
she's
for
like-
the Joker, folie à deux.
She's not good looking, is she? That Lady Gaga.
No, and her
No.
being Harley Quinn, I don't know how I feel about that. I never liked the idea, so we'll see.
Did she have a nose job as well?
I think so, because she used to have one hell of a schnoz.
Yeah, you look like a penguin at one point.
I don't know if she's got the hallmark of a vegan diet there.
That doesn't look like Joaquin Phoenix.
I would know.
though. It doesn't look like him.
Probably
at
a
all.
stunt double.
Yeah, it doesn't look like him.
Yeah, it does. So like a little bit, like because he's got that crazy look going on. But he's what, almost 50 now?
Yeah. Good
he's-
actor though.
Yeah, he's a good actor. It's just
He's
you
a
can
bit
tell.
crazy, but he's a good actor.
But apparently he's a genuine good guy, apparently. But anyway.
Cares about
I
the
don't know,
trees.
man.
Cares
He's the
about
one
the
that went
trees.
nuts and like said he retired, and then like a year later, it's like I'm coming out of retirement. It's like, wait,
Wasn't
what?
that for a movie though?
No, I thought he actually said he was going to retire because he was sick of all, like, I can't remember what the situation was. But then, yeah, somebody gave him enough money or an offer, and he's like, okay, well, I'll come out of retirement. It's like, wait, what?
Here you go. Jewish Bastard says, at first glance, I thought it was Robin Williams on the right.
Yeah, it looks a
Cheeks
bit.
aren't fat enough.
Well, yeah, a little.
This movie didn't need a sequel. I don't want this movie to exist.
I don't want it either.
Yeah. It would have been better as a standalone,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I feel like
$1 billion, though.
I
Did
know.
too.
I feel like in a way, kind of like how the Matrix Resurrections, they were just gonna make
No.
one without the Wachowskis one way or another. So she
So
was
they
like, "Well,
made it.
I'm just going to make the movie, and it shouldn't exist, and I'll show you why it shouldn't exist." And then made a steaming pile of shit. I wonder if they're doing that on purpose with this movie too.
Well,
Probably.
I mean, it's basically, that the first one made a crap load of money. They have to have a
Billion.
sequel. Even
Yeah.
even though it doesn't make any sense. This is the way the studios think. So, I'm not
There you go.
surprised.
Johnny Lawrence's mum does not need a sequel.
And also,
I mean, I'm a person that just thinks long term, like what the long term impact of anything I put out is. So I just don't understand. Like, what if you put out this steaming pile of shit that doesn't need to exist? And yes, you made some money now, but you damaged the brand. Like, that's what I think whenever I
don't
even
think
put out
that
a fucking
way.
video on YouTube.
but
Well-
this. They don't think. They don't think that way.
Well, here's my thing, though. Like, okay, so the first movie, they kind of left it very ambiguous. So it's like,
Yeah.
did any of this stuff happen or was it all in his head? And I really liked that whole, like, you decide for yourself. And now we're getting a definitive answer, which I don't think that we really needed, to be honest. So it's kind of disappointing.
Well, I don't care really. I probably won't go and see this. It'll probably
Okay.
end up on TV anyway. So.
Okay, leave the last word to Jewish Bastard. The Joker is a perfect standalone film.
It was.
It is.
It was. Yeah. It was.
Shall we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did anybody
Right.
see the new trailer for
No,
The
Just
Little
not.
Mermaid?
is it good? Is the trailer good?
No, dog shite, but it's getting ratioed to hell on.
It's accurate though. This does look like the Little Mermaid you would get off Wish.
yeah. It does, doesn't
I
it?
did
Yeah.
see the initial teaser, but I couldn't watch the one they just released recently.
Oh, I mean, little girls will probably go and watch it, won't they? And I just, again, I don't believe in race swapping at all. And I
Well,
think
but-
this is an abomination, really.
Did you hear like her singing? I don't think she sings very well. I'm like, they could have picked someone who actually can sing. I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, you'll get all the Hollywood people talking bollocks about this. Oh yeah, it's great that she's black and all that rubbish.
She says
And it's
stunning and
like
brave for
rubbish.
taking
Well,
on
it's
this
so
role.
little girls know they can be a mermaid when they grow up too. Don't you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, but the cartoon has got a black mermaid in it, isn't it? The cartoon, a long time ago, they had a
Yeah.
cartoon getting on TV.
Yeah, but wasn't
So-
that like a different mermaid? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a
not
different
real?
mermaid.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
like
right,
a
right.
sister or
Yeah, so-
a
Are
friend
there-
or something.
Yeah,
Are there any mermans in this?
mermaid.
King Triton.
They them.
Merman.
King Triton has to be played by Larry Fishburne or something like that because now she's black. Can't be a white geezer with a white beard as in a cartoon, can it?
Here you go, folks. Time Prophet, always bringing us down to his level. Mr. Brown Alliance, that's me. Is it? It is. So I must start again. It is impossible to sing underwater. Even dolphins can't do this.
It's a film. A
Well, they're
fantasy
not
film.
mermaids.
It's just a film.
Yes, the film.
So, just out of curiosity, how do mermaids and mermen procreate? Because you don't see any
Carefully.
mer parts. I'm just asking.
Well,
Where are your mer parts?
That's right.
Well, doesn't the? Oh, that's a good question.
If I remember my David Attenborough's Blue Planet, there are many means by which fishy creatures procreate.
that's right.
Exilade.
Amongst the most boring ways is that the male sometimes will leave a little mound of semen,
A little
and the
present.
female will lay an egg in it, or the female will lay an egg on top of a mound of jelly, and the male will come and cover it in his gentleman's relish, or like
Tinder
there are
sauce.
many ways, and none of
Now,
them are
is this
very
for
exciting.
mer people or like completely fish? Like only
This
half
is like
fish or?
fish generally.
No,
The
this is how
fish
fish
have
do it,
many.
yes.
Fish have many means of
2 hours
procreating.
20.
None of them are very exciting though, which is why that you wouldn't wish for it really.
I wonder if they'll address that on this film.
Yeah, I think they should. Do they have like human parts to do that with that are hidden, or do they have
The
fish
Little
reproductive
Mermaid. I'm gonna have to
things?
see this
This would
trailer.
all be so much easier if just the top half was fish.
Oh God, that'd be so gross. I think they addressed that in a Family Guy episode. They had a merman with a fish head and like man legs, and it was so weird looking.
But it's the question Z raised on Twitter the other day, like centaurs, do they have horse
Yeah.
penis or man penis?
Right. Edge of Time says spray eggs and pray. Yes.
There you go. Sorry, it had to
Well,
be
we've set her
asked.
off.
So the Little Mermaid, right? So is it the same story? Like she's going to fall in love with a guy,
Yeah.
and okay,
Yes. Just live
Right.
action. Yeah.
right, okay.
Why does the mermaid wear a bra?
Is it a bra? Are they maybe scales?
Barnacles.
Barnacles.
History of the World Part 2.
Hostman says she's supposed to be a Danish girl because she's a redhead.
Well, actually, in the Hans Christian Andersen story, she's blonde, I believe.
Blonde.
Yeah, she's a blonde.
Okay. It's going to be a shit show, isn't it? Anyway, okay. Should we
Yeah.
move on?
Please.
I feel it's going to be the gift that keeps giving for certain YouTubers when it comes out, though. But moving on.
That'll be Ben the Movie Cynic. Oh, Rackle Welsh.
Rackle
Aw.
Welsh died this week. I just thought I'd quickly put this in. Some of the peeps in the chat were mentioning it as well earlier. 82. She
Yeah.
died.
Good.
Yeah.
She was one of I can't remember 70s icon, wasn't she? Well,
Fit.
she's an icon. She was 70s. Yeah, big
Yeah, I
star.
had such a hots for her in Fantastic Voyage.
Oh,
Did you
great
guys?
film.
Great.
Did you
film.
guys ever see that episode of Seinfeld where she went around and slapping everybody? Pretty much. They're like, "What happened to you, Raquel Welch?"
No.
Yeah.
She's, but you know, she was gorgeous when she was in her prime.
Yeah.
Really, really.
She still
really
looked pretty
gorgeous.
good.
She
considering
aged
how-
gracefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met her daughter when I was in LA.
Wow.
Her daughter, her daughter's gorgeous. But her daughter, I think her daughter was in Cocoon. don't know if you saw that film, Cocoon.
Who was her
No.
That's a good
daughter in
film.
that?
She was one of the aliens in Cocoon. That I think what's his name? Fell in love with
Steve
Steve
Guttenberg.
Guttenberg. Yeah, fell in love with her. So that was her daughter.
Was the film on the? Is it 1 billion years BC?
Yes, one
Where, they had,
one billion
where somebody had the
years.
wristwatch on.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, she looked great in that too. You know, it's obvious how they dressed her there. They wanted the male audience in for that film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ray Harryhausen.
Here you go, Andy Mouse 123, and Mr. Brown answers me. She was great in Fantastic Voyage, and yes,
It was.
she was, and yes, it's a great film as well.
It is.
It's a fantastic film. I think that was.
I wonder if they're going to remake
1968.
that. I wonder if they're going to remake.
They did in a space.
Yeah, yeah, but that wasn't really a remake, was it? Let's face it.
Well, a love letter. Anyway,
Yeah, I
okay.
guess.
Okay, so rest in peace, Raquel Welch, 82, I do believe. Let's move on. One bit of Lord stuff. Did you see
No.
Charles?
Brown's little sister.
No. How
dare
dare
you. Sorry, Melvin. How dare you? Jordan B. Peterson says, what's the carbon footprint of this book? Deary.
I still think she's got
He's latched onto the wrong thing. So I'm sure her response will be that all the paper is recycled. That's perfectly easy to do. It could easily be a carbon neutral book. The claim that you want to latch onto that she's made around the time of the book launch was that she said she thought it was time for climate activists to move beyond legality and beyond legal measures. So she is
that's not
advocating for people breaking the law in service of their wacko religious idea. That's the claim to latch onto. This kind of stuff's just trivial. Of course it's going to be recycled paper, and Jordan Peterson should know better. But if she's actually advocating for people to break the law in service of this wacko campaign, then she's doing something very dangerous, and she's moved beyond being the child prophet of an apocalyptic religion to a propagandist for a criminal enterprise, and that's what we should be hammering home, because people don't like that.
I hope her
Well,
book's made out of recycled toilet paper.
She's
I
still
really
got
do.
a punchable face, though.
Oh yeah, totally punchable.
Well, her entire
How dare
ideology,
you?
her entire ideology is recycled, so I'm sure the book is as well. But no, she is actually advocating very, very serious things, which are quite dangerous as well when you get people who have moral purity and moral fanaticism, and then their child prophet excuses them for illegal acts because that's the only way to save the planet. That's quite dangerous. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see an uptick in actual criminal enterprise from climate activists as a result of this. Would not
Wow,
be
and that-
surprised at all.
That man in the tie, please. That question, please.
In the chat, Mr. Brown Lights. Oh, that's me. The Lord has spoken.
He has spoken.
You're
Tim,
quoting
I like
yourself
saying
in
this.
your own chat? What is
Exactly.
this meta
Somebody's got
I
stuff?
know. Mr.
Tim, I like saying
Narcissist
this.
Alliance.
Shut up. Preach it, Lord.
The ironic thing here is most of her supporters can't read.
Well said, sir. Oh,
Brilliant.
here you go. They're all going, Amen, Lord.
Yes, I will be your new religious icon. Do away with the child prophet.
Again, I have to apologise for that nickname. So there you go.
Yeah, but
You
he
fucking-
is,
you
he
really
is the
do.
Lord.
Oh my
He is
God.
the Lord. The Lord has spoken.
Yeah.
Praise
What
be
have
the
you
Lord.
started? You've
Praise
started a
be-
religion. Well done.
Oh dear.
Somebody's got to. Okay, we'll move on.
Who's this?
I don't know, but Deadpool 3, non-binary acts. I'll start again. Non-binary actress.
You didn't need to tell me that. I could have told that from looking at them.
Is that a guy?
Thank you.
I think it's a her.
Oh, it's a her
It
being
is,
him.
it is a.
They them.
It's a
don't want to
her
miss-
being an I'm too fashionable to be a gender thing. So it's a them technically.
Hold on. So wait, I'm confused. Is this a man or a woman?
No, that is
yes.
It looks
Originally,
like a woman.
originally.
Yes.
a. Yes.
I think it may have
Yes, on
started
both
off
counts.
as a woman, if I am guessing
Right.
correctly.
and now she's trying to be a man.
No, I don't
Just
think
trying
so.
to not
Atom
be
Gray.
anything.
Atom
Oh,
Gray says
okay.
cast as whom.
I'm
I don't know, but
confused.
she's
What
the
is she?
main.
What is
she's
she
the,
then?
She's going to be the
No, no,
main
no.
villain.
You're not confused.
Oh.
She is confused.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference. But no, they are
I'm with
technically
Tim. I want to
non-binary, which
leave.
means they do not claim to be man or woman, and they don't want to be man or
What?
woman. What they say is that they are beyond gender. So essentially, this person, whether biologically a man or a woman, identifies as neither of those things. They are just incredibly fashionable.
But surely, if you're either
Incredibly
binary or
fashionable.
non-binary, that is still a binary.
Yeah, they can't ever escape the binary. But,
They can't escape facts or logic
Or
or
DNA or
reality.
anything like that.
That's the thing. So it's a bit weird.
XY and XX.
But who's she playing
chromosomes.
anyway? Who's she playing in Deadpool 3?
I think she's playing
Doesn't
the
say.
XY.
With
Oh
what?
my God! You did not just
What?
say that.
I
It's a
don't get
thinking
this.
man's joke.
I don't get this
This is a
stuff
good
at
joke.
all. I don't
thank you.
understand it. I really don't.
I
Yeah,
don't. Why? Does anybody know why? Anybody in the chat? Does anybody know why?
To
Is it me?
like
Is it me?
balance out the male chromosomes in there because
Is
Hugh
it me?
Jackman's going to be back for Wolverine in this movie too. So.
And he's gonna be on roids at that
he's
age.
going to be ripped
have you
AF.
Have you seen him bulking up already?
Yes, he and Ryan Reynolds are competing, and it's really funny. So they're like really good friends in real life, and I love their banter on social media. So they're challenging each other to one up each other on these workouts, and it's pretty freaking amazing. So
Jackman's top half looks incredible, but he's
Yes.
not obviously training his legs at all. They look like sticks.
yeah, but we're not going to see the legs, are we?
well, he's going to
Right.
get those trained up because have you seen the movie The Wolverine? They were pretty freaking thick. THICC. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure he's going to work on that too.
Yeah, but it's
not
like
worried.
training legs is so
sir.
difficult that
Yes,
at that
sir.
age, like Chris Hemsworth
Yeah.
only trained his upper body for Thor, and he's in his 30s. So they'll,
Yeah.
they'll probably just keep
Yeah.
him in pants the whole movie, putting him fucking pads to make him look like he has quads and an ass. And just
I
let
wouldn't
him-
describe
That's
it
okay
as
as long as
difficult.
it looks
I
like
would,
it.
I'd describe it as just painful and horrible, and so you don't want to do it. But it's not difficult. It's just
See,
like a motivation. thing.
commitment.
And that's weird because women actually focus on the legs and the butt because we don't want to have that much legs and butt. So
That's where
we
you have
tone
your
up
most
those
power
areas.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Ravenscroft asks the question: is anybody still interested in Deadpool?
I think it's going to be
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
But I don't know who she's playing. Who's she playing? Is she playing any superhero in this or what? You know, I mean, it's all right to say she's non-binary, but what's the point in why
What
you
villain would
report
she
that?
be?
Yeah, why would you report that? It makes no sense.
Or
The
what
they,
villain
them?
would they be?
I
Wouldn't
am
it be
the
best
they,
to
them.
report who she's playing? Games and geeks and gamers. Jesus, why are you anyway? Whatever.
Okay.
I'm looking
Anyway.
it up now to see if they've actually announced who she's playing. I don't think they
Yeah,
have.
because this could be just a quote unquote rumor, even though these are not the people that typically spread
No,
rumors.
no, I think
Deadline, right?
Ryan Reynolds said this.
Apparently, she will be playing the primary antagonist, but I can't find the name of the primary antagonist.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because I want to know if they're going to live up to the comic book character or.
It'll probably be the
It's-
character Domino, I would think.
It's been rumored.
No,
that it's
because Domino was
Danger.
in number 2.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
she was in number 2. Right.
Yeah.
Danger has been rumored. I don't know if Danger is a character, but apparently Danger has been rumored.
Oh well, never mind. Could be worse. It's worse.
Shall we make haste towards the final slide?
Yes, please.
Make
Because
haste.
we've overrun a little bit. So, and finally, there were other stories, but
Finally.
we're a little bit.
And finally,
We've been taking our time. So,
let's go. Let's go.
Was anything
been-
else you had to do good?
if I tell you what, yes.
That's a loaded question because you never know with Brown.
Did anybody see this video
What is it?
of Spielberg literally falling around Tom Cruise saying, "You've saved Hollywood"?
No.
Did anybody see it?
I saw it.
It's true, but unbelievable. He's just literally saying, "You've saved Hollywood, Tom." You've
That's
saved
because he
Hollywood."
hasn't, because Spielberg hasn't got the guts to
hasn't
to
got
say
the balls. Yeah,
that. Yeah, the whole of Hollywood's going mental with this crap.
Yeah.
So
You know what? I will say though, as much as I don't like Tom Cruise, at
Cheers,
least
Jacob.
he was able to make a decent movie
Sequel.
that wasn't like agenda based. It
There
was
you go,
just
string of
story
it, yeah.
based.
Yeah. We said that he even said to the studio, "I am not releasing Maverick because it was made in 2019, wasn't it?"
He does look his age here
refused
now,
to-
doesn't
yeah,
he?
yeah.
He's looking his age.
Yeah.
But it's an important difference between the personal and the role. Tom Cruise, whatever we can say about him in his personal life, Tom Cruise takes his profession seriously, and he
Yes.
understands the role
Yes.
of cinema in that profession, and he has a fundamental respect for the art form that he's producing for.
And the
And I think
customer.
that's to be championed. We can have great fun talking about Tom Cruise being a nutter if we want to, but the fact that Tom Cruise actually very much values cinema as a medium and film as a medium to tell stories. I don't care if he's a Scientologist. He can be a wacko if he wants to be. I'll
Or
take
in
the
the
piss out of
closet.
him for that. But he's a great actor and he understands his role in film. And that's to be championed. So well done to him for that.
He
That was
also
very well
understands his
said, Ben.
audience, unlike a lot of movie productions.
right.
Speak up, I
Um,
can't hear you.
Yeah, he respects his audience, for one.
Mission Impossible is going to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it's part one. That's probably going to end at a cliffhanger. So it's part one. So part two is going to be the year after, isn't it? So
Yeah, the good work has been done with Top Gun Maverick, and I think it's a shoe-in. Mission Impossible is going to make $1 billion.
Yeah, it'd have to.
Yeah. Okay, so Tom Cruise saved Hollywood. What a surprise. Okay.
In a way, I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of true, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And finally, for the second time, Red Dwarf was celebrating 35 years
Hooray!
this week.
Yay.
That's for the Brits.
it is a good show. Red Dwarf.
I just got
It
in
is.
trouble. The hubby loves that show.
It is a good show. Red Dwarf's a good show. I mean,
It is.
the latest stuff is passable, but when
Some
they
of it's,
yeah,
it had
when
its
it went in
moments.
prime,
It had its
yeah,
moments.
yeah. But in its prime, it's bloody good.
Are we going to
I've
ever
still,
see it
I've
again?
never seen it. I've seen bits of Red Dwarf, but I only know Craig Charles. I know Craig Charles from Robot Wars, but I've never really spent time watching Red Dwarf.
Boys from the Dwarf.
It is very funny.
String of 8. You are old, mate. It is. It's fantastic.
The husband says that Cat is an awesome character.
He is.
It is.
He is.
Okay.
I wonder
I
if
have
we're
no
going to
idea.
see it again, because I know the creators are suing each other, aren't they? Is it Doug Naylor and Rob Grant?
For what?
I think it's royalties, I think. So I know the cast or the cast wanted to do more because they were just enjoying every moment. And I think it's going to be in the High Court at some point. And yes, Dwayne Diblett.
Oh, hell.
Great series. I bought my first VHS recorder just so I could tape
Speak up.
series 1.
You leave Z in his bathroom microphone alone.
Yeah.
Says Rennie. Z3PO, I'm in the studio audience for season 5, episodes 1 to 5.
I am, yeah.
Are you really?
I am.
That's
great.
cool.
Really enjoyable. They give away free tickets. You just got to be get on the list.
Oh my God. I think my husband's jaw just hit the floor.
Is this a dick measuring context between you and Problem Being? Like I was in
Probably.
I was in this production. No, I was in this production. No, I was in this production.
Andy Mouse
really
1,
good
2,
'cause,
3.
After the filming, they used to go to the studio bar.
Speak up, Z. Can't hear you.
They
I
used to
can
go to
hear
the
him.
Studio bar after the filming had completed, and we used to play pinball with the cast and have a few beers with them. It was great fun.
Sounds great.
Nice.
Ego Lord, you need to watch it from day one, apparently.
Well, if
No,
I was
you
to watch it
don't.
from day one, I'd have to go back in time 35 years. So
Just
that's not gonna
avoid the
happen.
first 2 seasons and you'll be right as rain, mate.
Yeah, the first season is not very good. The second season's not very
Awful.
good. The third season picks up. So watch the third season. You don't have to know what's happened. All you have to know is that he's the last human in the universe. That's all you need to know. That's that.
Okay, so happy birthday, Red Dwarf. I don't think we're going to see it again unless if they sort their shit out. Please sort your shit out. Okay, so...
Do it for Brown.
And for Tyrone.
That's right. You said his name right. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's it, folks. Please consider donating to the channel. Links in the description. A few of you have this evening. I appreciate that. That is it. End of week musings, episode 120. Old Picard there. So I think that is it. Chat, you are wonderful. A little bit longer this evening. We cut a few stories out, but I think we got there in the end. So, chat, you are wonderful. Always bringing your A game. I appreciate that. We will see you next time. I will thank the guests in odd of my screen. Z3PO. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this evening. Always a pleasure. Sorry,
Great to have you on, mate.
Internet connection kept dropping out, but still here. Fantastic. Very enjoyable.
Fantastic.
Cheers, my friend. Ian, thank you.
No worries, guys. No worries.
Please message Terry Metalis, please. Thank you.
Already did.
She's back, everybody. Rennie L taking over. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on. And
Great to have you
Brown,
on.
what's happening on Saturday? What are we doing on Saturday?
Godmother or something.
Godfather 2.
Okay,
This
I need
Saturday,
to do the
folks.
slides for that this week.
Oh, you better get on it.
That should take at least 5 years. Okay, so great to have you back. We'll see
Yeah.
you next week then, yes?
Yeah, sounds great. And guys, please donate so Brown doesn't have to give hand jobs for cash.
I'll do that for free. Blue Boy, cheers, mate. You really love you. You've taken one for the team this evening.
I love you guys too.
What a guy.
Thanks for having
What
me.
a guy.
Took one for the
guy.
team.
You got it.
And last but by no means least, it's the Lord, everybody, the little platoon. Cheers, Lord.
Thank you as ever.
Great to have you on. I know you.
Thank you as ever.
Well done, mate. I think that's it, folks. We're going. We're out of here.
I love you, Data.
We've got a Picard episode 1 to sort out at some point. So
Uh-oh.
we need Terry Metalis. Would you please come on, please?
Oh, God.
No rumors, only facts.
You can
Brown only does facts.
Mr. Metalis, you can come on anonymously so nobody knows who you are. Anyway.
Yeah, but he's blocked you, though, hasn't he?
Yes, because I know
Has he?
Doomcock, I think. Yeah.
They'll do chain blocking. So if you're following Doomcock, he blocked Doomcock, and
Yeah.
they'll chain block you. So.
Mr. Metalis, I think even Robert Meyer Burnett said he'd come on as well. So please.
That would be amazing if you could get RMB on here.
He said he would. It's just a question of scheduling.
When?
Because anyway. So
Yeah, I
You
would
need to
talk
do
to
it
him.
with you need to do it with a Patrick Stewart slur. I think that's probably the way to do it.
I love you, Data. I love you, movie cynic.
Sorry.
I'm
Movie
very,
cynic.
very
I
old now.
love you.
There, right there.
And on that bombshell, good night, everybody.
Dear, oh, dear.
Good.
Oh boy.
I'm a robot now.